I'm fresh out. Look for Fresh from Florida where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Florida residents rock it into summer. Now through August 31st, get 2 days for the price of one at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Here, you'll stand face-to-face with real spacecraft that have flown in space. And you can meet an astronaut, see a launch, or even journey to distant worlds at Spaceport KSC. There's a whole universe to explore at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Get tickets at kennedyspacecenter.com. That's kennedyspacecenter.com.
Eating good is about more than just tasty food. Eating good is about doing good, too. And that's exactly what Fresh from Florida is all about. Supporting local Florida farmers, creating jobs in our communities, and of course, making sure you can enjoy all the fresh flavors Florida has to offer. Because produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. So eat good tonight. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
By now, you've heard all of our ads. America's largest injury law firm. But what does that really mean for our clients, for you? It means that when you hire us, you don't just get a lawyer, you get a legal army, almost 800 lawyers alone. Your case is a big deal to us. When it comes to law, size matters. We're America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Do you have AC needs? Turn to the experts at Carrier. Go to millsair.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Find out at whenyouneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Real Radio has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND, G-R-A-N-D, GRAND. Enter it now on our website at realradio.fm and answer your phone if you get the call. Good luck.
Someone's going to get offended. It's just the way the world works. So to hopefully save everyone a little time and or energy, here's this. The opinions that you hear are those of the host and callers, and not those of iHeartMedia, its management, or advertisers. You are now listening to The Jim Colbert Show on Real Radio 104.1.
That's right, guys. Here we go on a Monday edition of the Jim Colbert Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate that greatly, and we do have a big old program for you today. We'll get you caught up on what's happening out there in the world. Deb's News will do that at 3:20, 4 o'clock hour. Sports with our buddy Brandon Kravitz from 96.9 The Game. We'll talk NBA Draft, Orlando City Soccer, College World Series Baseball. Also 5 o'clock hour trivia. 6 o'clock, it's Ross Thoughts, our buddy Ray Trinley. And we'll do last call and get out of here. Thanks for listening. We appreciate that very much. On behalf, I am Jim. To my left, my lovely, very dangerous co-host, Ms. Deb Roberts.
Hello there.
Straight ahead, producer Ross Padgett.
Chicken noodle soup is timeless.
All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Find us easily on social media. Instagram, Facebook at The Jim Colbert Show. And Twitter's just at Jim Colbert Show. And, of course, all day, every day at JimColbertLive.com. Jack on vacation, and he'll join us next week after the 4th of July break. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
So far, so chill.
Good weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a bad Sunday.
Yeah.
But I had a good Sunday night.
Very nice.
Went to a Sky Bar. Spent, too much money on drinks.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get like one drink in you, and then you start thinking like, you know what? I have way more money than I actually do.
Yeah.
That's usually how it starts.
I get one drink in me and go, you know what, buddy? You deserve a couple of these.
Yeah.
And by a couple, I'll see you next week. I did that once this weekend too.
It's starting to become one of my go-to moves.
Yeah.
Drink in, I'm like, I don't have money now, but I will one day.
That's the drink that lifts up that barrier in the parking garage. You're like, I can come in now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. By the way, thanks for covering for me on Friday. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys have a good time?
Had a great time. Saw Theo Vaughn, almost called him Leo Vaughn, who is not a comic.
The Rat King.
Saw the Rat King, and that was the name of the tour. The Rat King lives or tours or whatever it is. And Theo is an odd dude, but he made a very interesting observation. By the way, how was your weekend, Deb?
It was good.
Anything fun? I mean...
Thanks to Mills Air, my mom has a brand new air conditioning system. So needless to say, her weekend went very, very well. And that means everyone around her went really, really well.
That's mom in a good mood.
Yes.
Everybody's in a good mood.
Well, this is just dangerous heat.
Yeah,
right?
it is. We learned it in the news today.
Yeah, we did. And we'll be talking about that coming up in Woke News. But this is the kind of weather that, again, we talk about this all the time. But everybody that I pass that I see working outside, I'd say a little prayer for because this is some dangerous, dangerous stuff to have to work in.
And it's sneaky how it gets on you, too. That's the thing about it is you don't really realize anything's happening. And all of a sudden, it's hot outside and you're cold. You're like, what's going on? Next thing you know, you're laying flat on the ground, puking and dying is what happens.
Whenever I see people work outside, I don't actually say a prayer for them, but I do sing the song. I say a little prayer for you, and then it's always awkward. You're just like, hey, please leave, sir.
Yeah, you change your policy to just giving them ice cold bottles of Pedialyte, and that'll be way better policy.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Theo, he made an interesting observation because Theo has been a stand-up for a very long time. Theo Von, you can find him on all social media platforms. He's kind of weird. Does this bit about hamsters back in the day that kind of made him famous in the comedy realm. But, unless, and he wasn't a nationally touring comedian where where the mainstream would know who he is, right?
He was and has been a nationally touring comedian for probably a decade.
Yeah, I was going to say at least 8 years.
But
he
just
he wasn't
got that famous.
He didn't get that TV fame. He wasn't on the tip of the, there are a lot of touring comics people might not know, but people who like comedy would know. But Theo, and the funny thing is he gets on stage and about 20 minutes into his set, in the middle of a joke, he just stopped dead cold and he goes, "Oh, I just forgot. This is the first time you've ever seen me walk." Because not many people have seen him do stand up. He's usually sitting in his chair doing a podcast. That's where a lot of the clips come from that made him famous on social media. He's sitting in a chair doing a podcast, or he's with Joe Rogan sitting and doing a podcast. And it really made the crowd laugh really hard because everybody at the same time was thinking it a little bit. Like, he's got a big old ass, which is weird. Nobody really knew that about Theo Von. His ass is giant. And it bubbles out, and when he walks, it kind of pokes out. So he kind of noticed people paying attention to that and called it. And then called it out. Everybody's like laughing at it. It was a good time. He was at basically what the equal of the Dr. Phillips Center is over in Tampa, the Stray Center, which is an older but 3,000 person stadium. Didn't completely sell it out, but it's still a very good crowd for him. Everybody had a great time. Did about an hour and 15.
There's a great clip of Theo Von before he kind of found sobriety.
Yeah, because he's been sober for about 14 months or something now.
Yeah. And he ate a bunch of mushrooms and did stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And there's video of it. I think it's on YouTube. But what really made it funny for me was that his friends were also tripping, and they also thought it would be funny just to slowly change the lights from blue to red the entire set.
Those are true friends.
And then just changing the colors periodically throughout, like, every 3 minutes.
Buddy, he had a couple banger. You talked about he was a coke guy. That was his thing. He liked doing cocaine.
His big social media viral clip?
Yeah.
My favorite type of weed was cocaine.
Yeah. And he talks about how that affected his life and what he did to get some cocaine at one point and what he and a couple other friends did. And it was unreal, really unreal, but very funny. If you get a chance to check him out, I thought he was pretty good. Out of his hour and 10, I text Ross because he was vestedly interested in how good it was because his Netflix special, his current one, didn't blow up.
Yeah, so I think, to my knowledge, he has 2 Netflix specials. The first one is legendary.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's him talking about his old dad, which is 15-year-old bit that he has. It's one of his first bits, and that was the first time it was premiered, to a big audience on Netflix. And then the second one was a little interesting, not really for me. Still some funny moments, but it just kind of felt like, wow, the podcast success probably have taken some of your time away from doing stand-up.
And some of your content, because you have to make that balance of where, who are you going to give what? If you put it out there on the podcast, people are going to watch it over and over again. You try to do that in stand-up, people are like, oh, we've seen this. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting how he resets. I don't know if he's been doing this for a while because I don't remember watching a lot of his stand-up. Again, just clips. But he does this thing he tells stories, really. It's not really jokes per se. He doesn't, it's not a, stand up, knock him down like Sam Morril or any of the, the comics where you just kind of tell a joke, do a punchline and move on. He kind of tells stories. And at the end of the story, he goes, so what's good? He'll almost like talking to himself. He'll go, so what else is going on? And then he answers himself going, I don't know. Not much, dude. And then he goes back into the next bit. He almost resets his story bits by asking himself what's going on and then telling himself, not much, dude. And then he goes into the next segment. I was talking to my wife about it. It was a fascinating way that he did it.
Yeah, Theo's the man, though. There's a reason why there's almost 3,000 people there to see him. He is very unique. He's a breath of fresh air, I think, for a lot of stand-up comedy for that type of comedy to hit mainstream success.
Yeah.
That's different.
And by the way, don't ever bitch about downtown Orlando traffic again. Do not ever do it. If you do it, just go to Tampa for a minute and try to drive around downtown Tampa at around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night and see how far you get. Nowhere. We had to break every traffic law ever written in the state of Florida to get out of a traffic jam and almost killed 3 people. It was the worst managed downtown area I have ever seen in my life by a million. And I thought Austin, Texas was bad. Because Austin, Texas, here's about a 10-block area of Austin that becomes unreasonable at night. I mean, unmanageable. There are people everywhere doing everything you can imagine. Some of them on scooters, some of them on electric bikes. But they are drunk and having a good time. Austin is a madhouse.
I can tell
when
you
it's downtown. And the traffic in Tampa was markedly worse. I mean, so bad.
If they're on scooters and bikes, I don't know who's on who, but I do know they are not getting put back.
No, yeah, they're not. They're going to get ditched immediately. 407-916-1041. By the way, your 3 o'clock keyword is GRAND, G-R-A-N-D. Get over to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000. The Monsters already had a winner this morning.
I know.
So we're trying to get one there as well. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. The Orlando couple that was suing Ocean Gate because, remember, they took the deposit and then they didn't wind up going down, and then that guy kept the deposit. It's a couple $100,000, like 115,000 times 2 or so. They have decided to drop those charges, which I do not understand. I guess after the guy's death, they dropped the charges. I don't know if the company is insolvent. I don't know if it has any, but it probably has insurance. And I don't understand the idea of that. I mean, look, we all understand it's a tragedy. The guy had enough warning. He should have not been down there to begin with. So that's I don't get that. I also want to ask this, and I know Ray Trindley's coming in a little bit later, but can I ask you guys up front and kind of get a test of the room? If you have dash cams in your vehicle and your dash cam takes a video of someone else doing something in their car, you can post that, correct? In other words, the question is, do you have a reasonable expectation of privacy in your own vehicle?
As long as you don't record their voice.
But you can record it. And the reason I asked this is because I recorded a guy in traffic Saturday absolutely headbanging at early Metallica levels.
Right.
Like, I mean, headbanging like Beavis and Butthead, just blowing it up. I've never seen a person more happy in traffic than this guy was. Full smile, absolutely blasting what seemed to be some death metal I didn't even recognize, but just banging his head and looked happier than anybody in the world at that moment. And I took a video of him that didn't come out, but I was like, I wonder if I can do that. Because I don't know what kind of expectation you have of privacy in your own vehicle.
I think you can absolutely do that. It's just always going to be looked at as a little rude.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I took it. I was like, I don't know.
Because if you're out in public, it's always going to be rude recording somebody without their consent.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know in Florida you can't do it with the voice. As long as you don't record the voice without their knowledge, you're okay. But I don't know how that is in your own vehicle. Also, we have, let's see, booze bonding. I don't know if you've heard of that term. We have that to talk about today. And Oregon is thinking about changing the way it pays for something, which is a very interesting thing, and it affects EVs. We'll have that coming up a little bit later as well. Deb, news?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the woman accused of killing her neighbor will not face a murder charge. Get ready, because more than 200 Florida laws take effect this weekend, and call it the real world fake Mars. We'll talk about that more coming up next during Woke News.
You got it, 407-916-1041. Text us, 77031. Grand is your 3 o'clock keyword. Again, just get over to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000. Back in a sec with Deb's News and more. The Jim Colbert Show.
Make your smart speaker smarter. Hey Google, play Real Radio 104.1 on iHeartRadio.
From the Goldsmith Jewelry Shop Traffic Center. Lowest prices on the highest quality jewelry. GoldsmithJewelry.com.
Well, a couple of problems on the roadways in the Central Florida Avenue, Florida Turnpike southbound. After North Hancock Road, we have an accident blocking the right shoulder in that location. Also, we have an accident I-4 eastbound before Fairbanks Avenue, the right shoulder blocked there. And getting a report right now, a crash in Melbourne, West New Haven Avenue and John Rhodes Boulevard. Maybe some slowdowns in that location. See traffic troubles, call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Pat Largo.
This report is sponsored by Fontainebleau's Summer Paradise Getaway.
Fontainebleau Miami Beach is your summer paradise getaway. Taste incredible food from 8 casual and fine dining restaurants, or spend an out-of-the-ordinary night at Live Nightclub. Save up to 25% plus. Receive up to a $100 resort credit when you stay 4 nights or more, June through September. Book now at Fontainebleau.com.
Man, Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is a top 10 TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice winner year after year. We love it here at the Jim Colbert Show. We broadcast over there a number of times for a reason. We love helping these guys get people over there because once you go once, you are going to want to go back. It not only is it educational, it's interactive and fun, and everybody in the family is going to enjoy it. And you can see those thundering rocket launches right up close, see the spacecraft that are blazing the trail for tomorrow's discoveries, and put your hands on these things. Like I said, very interactive, tons of fun, and right now is the best time to go. The new 2-day ticket offer is unbelievable, costing less than $45 per day, offering maximum flexibility for the entire family. It's the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Get your tickets and learn more today at KennedySpaceCenter.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Look, some choices in life are complicated. Others, thankfully, are much simpler. Like choosing Truist One Checking. There are no overdraft fees, lots of practical perks, and when your life evolves and account balances grow, we'll upgrade your perks automatically. Truist One Checking. One simple choice. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, President of Operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
I'm back! And look at all the fresh from Florida produce I brought home. You have heard of Fresh from Florida, right?
Fresh I have.
That's refreshing to hear.
Fresh from Florida produce is fresh as fresh can get.
And if we're going to freshen up daily meals, it's refreshing to know that locally grown Fresh from Florida produce is available year-round.
Well, that's a breath of fresh air. Got anything else?
Oh, I'm fresh out.
Look for Fresh from Florida where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Here's what a Fence Outlet customer has to say about their experience.
After the hurricanes destroyed our old fence, we took the advice of our neighbor and called Fence Outlet. They were fast and professional, and we love our new fence.
Check them out at fenceoutlet.com.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 Smart Bed is now only $8.99, plus special financing. Ends Monday. See store for details.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. The 4th of July is an important holiday for all Americans. For some husbands, however, in troubled marriages, holidays are marked more by hardship than harmony. If you're such a guy and considering divorce, know all your options. We advise, we advocate, and when necessary, we litigate.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Orlando area attorneys. Office in Orlando. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
O'Reilly. It may be sunny out now, but severe storm season is just around the corner. Your local O'Reilly Auto Parts has the emergency supplies you may need, including generators, tarps, emergency lighting, and cleanup supplies. Prepare now for severe storms ahead with a visit to the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have AC needs? Turn to the experts at Carrier. Go to millsair.com.
The Jim Colbert Show returns now on Real Radio 104.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. I am Jim. Ross is right over there. Let's get a check of the news. Here is Deb.
And now, it's time for Woke News.
It seems like kind of a misuse of the whole world.
On the Jim Colbert Show.
All right, as always, Woke News is brought to you by that mortgage guy, Don. All right, the Central Florida woman accused of killing her neighbor is not going to be facing murder charges. The state attorney representing Marion County says Susan Lawrence will only be charged with manslaughter and the death of A.J. Owens last month. Yeah, police say Lawrence shot Owens through her apartment door in Ocala following a disagreement regarding Owens' children earlier this month. The state attorney says while he is aware of what community members and even A.J. Owens' family's attorney wanted, he cannot have his decision influenced by the public. If she is convicted, the suspected shooter could face up to 30 years in prison. And the state attorney has said, listen, they will only charge her with that which they are able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law.
The interesting thing is, did you read what it takes to get a second-degree murder charge, which is exactly what I thought they would go for? They have to show or exhibit hate or on that line, a history of discrimination or hate. And from what I understood when I read this story to begin with, that this has been an ongoing battle with them, and she on multiple occasions called the children the N-word and made derogatory comments about race to the mother as well. Like, I don't understand that, I guess. I would be like the community. I wouldn't be able to understand why this didn't rise to the occasion.
Especially considering she's the one who told the children reportedly that day to go get their mother.
Right.
So she knew that AJ was going to be coming to her front door. She told the kids, go get your mother. Everything from buying the guns after the last altercation, never calling the police, to shooting right through the door, despite the fact she wasn't surprised. She could see through her ring. She told the kids to tell the woman to come to her. I'm with you, Jimmy. To me, it seems like a open and shut case.
And I don't know about the ring video. I haven't heard anything, but I don't even think she told her to go away. I've got a gun. Like none of that. No warning, no nothing. The door was locked. She couldn't get in. She shoots her through the door.
And her children were standing there with her.
I do not, for the life of me, I do not get that. I guess now here, the understanding could be this. She's 54 58 years old.
58, I believe.
Something like that. So a 30-year sentence essentially is a death sentence.
Yeah.
So if they give her the max, even with the good behavior type release thing, she would still probably do 20 years. And again, that's the majority of the remainder of her life.
And
Maybe that's the mindset, and they're going for a guarantee, slam dunk conviction.
And I think that possibly could be it. But like you, to me, all of her actions scream.
Yeah, sure does. When I read the case again this morning, I was like, man, I don't get that. But I guess I'm not a prosecutor, so I don't know.
Right, exactly. All right, a story we alluded to at the top of the hour, and it's just a tragic story, and it illustrates again the extreme heat. An Orlando man and his stepson are dead following a hike at Big Bend National Park out in Texas. Park rangers confirmed with WKMG News 6 that a 31-year-old man and his two stepsons were hiking a trail on Friday when the 14-year-old boy lost consciousness. So the man walked back to his car and asked the boy's 21-year-old brother to carry him back to the trailhead as he walked onto his vehicle to try and get some help. Unfortunately, authorities say the 14-year-old died, and the stepfather's vehicle was found crashed over an embankment where he too had died as well. The National Park Service says temperatures were 19 degrees at the time of the incident. This particular trail that they were on, no shade, just right out in the open. The victims' identities have not been released.
And much like with us here in Florida, you get warned about riptides and stuff like that. I mean, the heat here is bad, but there is a lot of humidity in the air. Out there, it's a little different. It's very dry. And again, we've talked about this before. When the air comes around your body, like when it's blowing and it's that warm, it just sucks all of the moisture out of you. You don't even feel it happening. It'll happen to us on golf courses sometimes because you're out there, because you're drinking water, you think it's fine. But the minute you stop, you realize, man, I'm cramping up. There are other things you need in your body than water. You're sweating out salt and all those nutrients that you need to have. And it happens just like that. My buddy got a mild heat stroke, and he was just talking to me on the tee box the hole before. And then we get to the end of the other hole, which is 300 yards away, 15 minutes. And he says, I'm cold. And I'm like, oh, my God, buddy.
Oh, that's
and I ran across, got some water, brought it back over, and boom.
300 yards, par 4.
Yeah.
What tees you playing from?
All right. Meanwhile, a city in Lake County is offering free resources to residents as a boil water advisory remains in effect. So Groveland officials say a main line broke at one of the city's water plants yesterday. Now, crews are hoping to complete repairs sometime today. However, the boil water notice will remain in place for the next 48 hours until operations are fully restored. So officials say residents who are impacted can grab free water at Cherry Lake Park until 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Wow.
It's pretty nice.
I always find these notifications really scary. Very sketchy.
We get them in our neighborhood when they flush the system frequently.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten one.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't.
Yeah.
And I just missed it. Like, hey, by the way, you guys know the thing that brings life to everything?
It maintains life.
You can't trust that right now.
No, you definitely want to get one of those things because the last thing you want to do is wake up and brush your teeth with boo-boo water and find out the hard way that you had a boil water notice.
Here's how dumb I can get. And, Ben, let me tell you, I can get dumb. I had one of these things roll through the neighborhood about 3 months ago, and I was like, I'm outsmarting this. I'm using bottled water. Go to the ice maker.
Oh, no.
And then pour bottled water over doo-doo water.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. Yeah, no way I'm going to die from this. If I die, I'm suing this bottled water company.
Yeah, you're just chugging it just so the ice doesn't melt.
Exactly. Get it out of your system.
Complete dumbass.
All right. The Florida Division of Emergency Management is reminding small businesses affected by Hurricane Ian that last year that a deadline for asking for help is fast approaching. But yeah, it's still available. But Thursday is the last day to file for loans through the Small Business Administration. Now, this is meant to help businesses with economic losses suffered from September 23rd to November 4th last year. If that applies to you, you can get more information at disasterloanassistance.sba.gov.
There you go.
All right. Orange County leaders are discussing how they should spend more than $300 million for Central Florida tourism projects later today. A task force is set to release its recommendations on how the money should be split up during the meeting. 55 organizations have applied for a portion of the funding, which comes from the tax that visitors pay to stay in hotels and short-term rentals. One of the biggest proposals is from the University of Central Florida, who wants more than half of the funding to expand its athletic facility. The meeting got underway at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You also have the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center that wants some money. Camping World Stadium wants like $500 million. And then, the convention center, because, they don't have enough room. They want to add a ballroom. Amateur athletic,
they should put that money. Well, if any of those entities get it, it should be this Dr. Phillips first. Because have you seen the renderings of that thing they want to build in that area out front?
Yeah, the front lawn.
Oh, my God, that thing looks amazing.
It looks very, very cool.
Yeah.
And way cooler than a convention center.
Yeah,
it doesn't
way
need
cooler
to get
than
any bigger.
Is that what you're rooting for? I think that's what I'm rooting for.
What, the Dr. Phillips
Yeah,
expansion?
the Dr. Phillips expansion.
I would be behind that in a second, way before any of the others. I mean, even UCF. I mean, come on, man.
It looks really major city, like, oh, damn, Orlando's stepping up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Governor Ron DeSantis has laid out his first formal campaign policy of his presidential run. The governor rolled out his plan to crack down on illegal immigration after spending time in Eagle Pass, Texas earlier today. So if elected, DeSantis says he will declare a national emergency on his first day in office and send military personnel to the U.S.-Mexico border. He also promised to build a wall at the southern border to prevent a steady flow of migrants into the country. The state of Florida deployed hundreds of National Guard troops along with FHP troopers and other law enforcement to help Texas border towns with security efforts. Meanwhile, an NBC News poll released yesterday shows Donald Trump leading DeSantis by almost 30 points in the 2024 GOP primary. The poll, though, also shows DeSantis tied with President Biden, while Biden leads Trump by 4 points. Speaking of Trump, about 36 media outlets are requesting the witness list in former President Trump's documents case to be revealed. The filing with the federal court here in Florida says argued public confidence in the integrity of the trial will suffer without the witness list being made public.
Oh, yeah.
The group of media organizations includes CNN, NBC Universal Media, and the New York Times. On Friday, special counsel Jack Smith moved to have the witness list filed under seal with the court. Earlier this month, you'll remember Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 counts of becoming the first former president to be indicted on federal criminal charges.
Look, man, we don't want to hassle him or nothing. We just want everybody to know.
Meanwhile, people in Manatee County, this is over in Bradenton, Gulf Coast area, they're speaking out against Florida's new immigration law. A group known as the Party of Socialism and Liberation held a rally in Bradenton yesterday ahead of legislation that takes effect on Saturday. If you remember, that measure would require businesses with 25 employees or more to use E-Verify to confirm the legal status of their workers. I wonder how many of those big agricultural companies are going to all of a sudden become really tiny LLCs with less than 25 employees. Let's see. The law would also increase penalties.
What an S show of a game this is. It is such a stupid chess game. Like, it's so dumb.
Well, the law would also increase penalties for companies who hire undocumented immigrants, as well as human smuggling cases. The group says they plan to hold more protests throughout the state this week.
That is the most, I'm with Scott on this one. That is literally the most transparent smack in your face of hypocrisy there is. The fact that you're focusing on the southern border, which needs to be focused on.
Without a doubt.
I mean, it needs to be focused. It's a complete S show down there. But to ignore your own state's issues like that and then, we understand why, because it looks good on television. But for people who live here in the state, nobody's really fooled. Everybody understands the ag culture in this community and these communities has been run by illegal immigrants for decades.
Yeah, and that includes
and it's been
us,
ignored. It's been ignored by every politician there's been.
Georgia,
every one of them.
And the one thing
genuinely unbelievable to me.
And what kills me the most is that the end result is a lot of division.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of just very judgmental and negative ways of thought, I think, derives from policies like that.
It's laughable.
Well, it's not the only one because more than 200 laws are scheduled to take effect in Florida this weekend. This includes the state's more than $100 billion budget, expanding eligibility for school vouchers for students, and efforts to boost affordable housing. Several other measures signed into law that are deemed controversial will allow residents to carry guns without a concealed weapons license and expand a ban on discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity from kindergarten to 8th grade. The legislation will take effect on Saturday, July 1st. Holy crap, it's already July.
I'm brutal.
Hey, speaking of July, you guys have plans to actually head out of town for the long 4th of July holiday weekend?
No, we're staying right here. We're staying put. Just staying put.
Well, you're probably smart, and you're probably on the not so common because Floridians are going to be hitting the roads and the skies in record numbers for the upcoming 4th of July weekend. AAA expects more than 2.8 million Sunshine State residents will travel 50 miles or more between Friday and next Tuesday. That's 87,000 more travelers than the previous record, which was just set last year. Nearly 2.5 million will be traveling by car, with gas prices down significantly from a year ago. Holiday air travel is expected to increase by 11% in Florida. But man, of course, summer travel means summer thunderstorms. You've got over 4,000, close to, 1,400 flights across the country. I believe have been canceled just today because of the weather, with another 4,000 delayed. Or
they're expecting some really, really, really nasty weather there in that heat dome area out there in the Midwest. And it is supposed to be brutal.
Florida gas prices, more specifically, they are falling, and it is just in time for your 4th of July road trip. According to AAA, the state average is $3.35. That's 6 cents down from last week, 3 cents cheaper from a month ago. A year ago, though, Florida drivers were paying $4.68 per gallon.
Hello.
Whack.
Hello.
All right. Port Miami is getting back to normal after a deadly collision. Man. The Coast Guard closed the port yesterday morning after a boat crashed into the Fisher Island ferry near Miami Beach. The 30-foot boat sank in the North Channel. One man died and another was taken to the hospital in serious condition. The port reopened yesterday morning after the boat was recovered. But during that time, while the port was closed, you had over 15,000 passengers on 3 different cruise ships that were stranded because they couldn't dock. FWC is investigating the collision.
They all missed flights. I read that story this morning. It was, boy, you talk about a calamity already with flight issues going north because of the weather. Now you have this boat that sinks in the absolute worst possible place. The rig they had to bring out to bring this thing up was bananas. It basically blocked the entire port. And the ships just had to circle out there. One guy was supposed to get off the ship at 7 a.m. He didn't wind up getting off until 9 that night. Already missed his connecting flight. Had to rebook everything. Get a room that night. What a nightmare.
And then all those other passengers waiting to start their cruise.
Right.
You always talk about how quickly that crew turns that ship around. I mean, you're off the ship, and then in 3 hours, they're getting ready for another 5,000 people.
Everybody's off by 9, and they're reloading that thing by 3 that afternoon.
See?
2-3 that afternoon.
Man, that sounds like some manager's nightmare. There had to have been some white button-up shirt with the sleeves rolled up and about 5 cigarettes.
A lot of those.
At the same time.
In a fetal position.
They're all Greek.
I make 70 a year.
Right. Oh, no.
And I know you're going to be talking about the Winter Park couple and their lawsuit against OceanGate, the company behind the Titan submersible. But while you do that, I'm going to let folks know that if you're out in Vegas, well, at least in some spots, you're not going to hear My Heart Will Go On, the Academy Award-winning song from the movie The Titanic. Yeah, it's no longer playing at an attraction on the Las Vegas Strip. The decision was made Friday after a complaint from a guest at the Streetmosphere performances at St. Mark's Square at the Venetian's Grand Canal Shops. It follows last week's OceanGate Titan submersible tragedy. So the 5 people on board were killed while on an expedition to view the wreckage of the Titanic. So Celine Dion's version of the song is still on the song list at the fountains at the Bellagio.
There you go. Yeah.
And then finally...
God, that song rips.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It's a good one. Banger.
Call it the real world fake Mars.
Okay.
A hangar at Johnson Space Center is now the setting as 4 non-astronauts begin a 1-year residency. It started yesterday in a setting that's designed to simulate life on Mars. NASA says the goal is to examine the potential physical and mental effects of arriving and then living on the red planet for at least a year. So officials say the crew of 2 men and 2 women were selected among applicants NASA recruited when the experiment was first announced 2 years ago.
Man.
Took them 2 years to whittle down that list of what could be the last 4 people.
We need 4 people who won't kill each other after 1 week. Let me tell you, I would be banging on the walls of that thing like the Truman Show after about 48 hours.
Because, I mean, think about it. They're living in a 3D printed building. They cannot go outside. They cannot go. I mean, everything has to be done. If you're sick, you stay in there. If it doesn't matter, there's no atmosphere.
There's no days off.
No,
like you can't slide out and grab a beer. There's none of that. You have to live and exist as if you were on that planet in like a fake atmosphere.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
a dome.
Not being able to. I think about that. South Florida professor who lived underwater for a while and said the one thing he missed the most was sunshine.
The sunlight, yeah.
I mean,
it was only like 60 days. Either.
Exactly.
2 men, 2 women. Are they expecting to procreate?
I don't believe so. I don't know what the parameters are for that, but I would imagine in this experiment, no, because you can't bring any medical. No one can go in and no one can come out. So whatever happens in there, they have to roll with the dice and just keep it together, I guess, for an entire year.
Well, that means there has to be like a physician. It's almost like the Star Trek thing where they have to bring a specialist in each kind of, even though they're not astronauts per se, they can have specialized talents, like doctor, physicist maybe, or
psychologist,
engineer, psychologist, something like that. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to find out what their makeup is.
Like oil driller, Bruce Willis, Armageddon. It happened once.
And now you all are officially woke, and Woke News is brought to you by Home Loans Radio with that mortgage guy, Don. Mortgage brokers are better. Why? Because they do all of their loans through national wholesale lenders. Still your standard FHA, VA, or conventional loan, but that mortgage guy, Don, has access to dozens of wholesale banks that you and I as consumers simply do not, and they want to compete for your business. Imagine that. Dozens of banks actually competing to get your business for once. Well, that mortgage guy, Don, will give you a comparison quote today. Just go to thatmortgageguydon.com. Peace of mind at your fingertips, so don't miss the boat. Compare your quote at thatmortgageguydon.com.
Thanks, Deb. 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Remember, your 3 o'clock keyword is GRAND, G-R-A-N-D. Go to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000. Back in a sec with more of The Jim Colbert Show.
Real Radio is Real Music Weekends. Real Music Weekends. This weekend on Real Radio 104.1. Brought to you by attorney Mo DeWitt. Injured on the go? Just call Mo.com.
From the Rude Air Conditioning Weather Center. Powered locally by Ferguson HVAC.
Hey everybody, Jamie King with you now, Fox 35 Storm Center. Just want to update and freshen up the forecast for you on this Monday here in Central Florida as we approach midday. Hot and humid today, 95, feeling more like 103 though during the afternoon with a feels like temp. Rain chance of 20% or less, mainly after 3 or 4 p.m. An evening shower chance tonight, 20%, lows to 75, partly cloudy. And on Tuesday, hot high 96, rain chance 20%, 40% on Wednesday, highs at 95. For Fox 35, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jamie King. Take care.
This report is sponsored by Phantom Fireworks.
Just a reminder for this and every 4th of July that the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air are brought to backyards across America by Phantom Fireworks. Visit fireworks.com for specials, coupons, and a location near you.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season and available in the produce section right now. Whoa, hey, careful now. There's plenty of juicy watermelon and other tasty Florida-grown produce for everyone. I mean, all you have to do is ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
Backup systems. We depend on them. Even your household budget has one. And Scott Cash Advance. Up to $500 fast with no credit check. Many locations open 24/7. Some restrictions apply, subject to approval.
And Scott.
It's summer at Racetrack. Open up a bottle of savings with buy one, get one for $1 20-ounce sodas. That's delicious. Racetrack, whatever gets you going. Buy one 20-ounce soda, get one for $1. See store for details and additional limitations.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Applebee's daily deals for $9.99 and under. There's a deal every day for everyone. Just $9.99 and under. That's all day, every day. Get into your local Applebee's now. Daily deals are dine-in only in limited locations listed on nrpneighborhood.com. Limited time only while supplies last. Participation varies.
The clock is ticking on IDC's spectacular free finance offer. You have until this Sunday to get 5 years, zero interest financing. That means that $15,000 designer ring is just $250 a month. Or that $3,000 pair of diamond hoop earrings, just $50 a month. Everybody's loving this. It's the smartest way to buy, but you need to act now. This offer ends Sunday and will not be extended. Hurry in and see just how affordable fine jewelry can be at International Diamond Center.
You put it off all month, but guys, you need to act now. International Diamond Center's amazing free finance offer ends this Sunday. So if it's time to pop the question, celebrate a big anniversary, or upgrade her diamond, now is the best time. You can make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of just 0%, as in 0.0. All designer rings and all certified diamonds are included. So act now. International Diamond Center's rate relief ends Sunday. Get details at shopidc.com.
4 Orlando locations. Unapproved credit.
Hear the latest news from the headlines on your phone. Download the free iHeartRadio app for exclusive live coverage of breaking news. From what's happening where you live to what's happening across the country. Live from the center of the story. Listen for free anywhere, anytime. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. The 4th of July is an important holiday for all Americans. For some husbands, however, in troubled marriages, holidays are marked more by hardship than harmony. If you're such a guy and considering divorce, know all your options. We advise, we advocate, and when necessary, we litigate.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Orlando area attorneys. Office in Orlando. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hogue, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
This earful of Real Radio is brought to you by Tools Ace Hardware.
You can watch radio being made on a daily basis. Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Grand is your 3 o'clock keyword. Give it to realradio.fm and send it away. Maybe you can win that $1,000. 407-916-1041. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
So is Ross.
Yeah.
Jack on vacation. He'll visit us back after the 4th of July break. Taking a long vacation. That's way out of context for Bradshaw.
I know. So do you think he's still listening?
No, I know. He already responded to an email today.
No.
He did.
He sent an email.
Yeah, I almost responded because he was the one who let everybody know that there was a winner. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I was talking to him Friday before, because he left on, Thursday. He left Friday morning. And I said, man, that's a lot of days off. And again, he has the days off. It's not about taking the vacation. We all have plenty of vacation time and stuff. But for Bradshaw to disengage from this radio station for more than 4 days is a titanic
bad example
undergoing for him, because, man, he is not a guy who disconnects from this place real well at all. He listens perpetually. He is always listening to the station.
Well, it's a good station.
It is a great
gotta give him
station.
that.
I know, but I mean, you need a break from work in general, regardless of what you do. I mean, I know, it seems like a really fun job, but his job is very pressure filled. Not only does he have to do this, but he also has to answer to corporate for all the things that happen in the business of this business, and it would be a lot.
Which is why, I always wonder, so you took off early on Friday so you and your wife could have a date night. And, of course, getting to Tampa meant you should have left Friday morning.
We got there with 5 minutes to spare.
I wondered
hours.
about that. Yeah, 3 hours.
The worst traffic you ever saw in your life. Coming back was even worse. We had to reroute through another small town to even get home.
But chances are you didn't listen to the show after you left, right? Once you get in the car,
I do not listen to the
I'm the
program.
same way.
I do not listen to the show. We do a thing called a deep dive where we will randomly pick a show from the past and listen to it, and kind of pick and choose what we like, don't like, how we're interacting with each other. It's just a little tune-up thing that we do here on the air. We haven't done one for a little while because we've had some pretty good numbers, but it's probably about time to do one. But I hate that more than anything. I cannot stand listening to the show when I'm not on. And I don't like listening to it when I'm on it. It's just not my thing. This, I do it and then I go on.
Right.
So I don't know. I know people who listen to their shows all the time.
Nope.
And I don't understand it. But, I mean, again, I'm not dogging it or condemning it by any means.
No, it just means you're still at work.
They're probably better at it than I am because of it. But with that said, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I know. I've definitely listened.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm able to disassociate myself from being the person that I'm listening to, which would be really weird to listen back to this segment where I think my brain just might explode.
It's a mirror looking into a mirror?
Yeah. Because then, it's like if you film a scene and then you edit the scene, you end up kind of disassociating that it's you in the scene, then you're just thinking about the project itself. So whenever I go back and listen to a Ross Thoughts, if I thought it was good and then it wasn't, and vice versa, it's almost like it's two different people.
Yeah. I'll give you an example.
I can't listen to myself.
So Jeff Howell, the guy that's on the Monsters all the time, he's been here with the station for many, many years. He's been an entertainer in Central Florida for many, many years. He's recorded 2 or 3 albums, right? That's all he listens to is his own music.
Really?
He doesn't listen to any other music. He listens to his music almost, well, unless things have changed, almost exceptionally, he only listens to his own music.
I just look at it the same way. I mean, professional teams do this all the time.
Yeah, watch their own tape.
They're watching their own tape.
But they're watching to see how they react to an opponent.
There's that too, but they're also watching, why did 42 do that?
Yeah.
We didn't tell him to do that.
I will tell you, you're 100% right. If I did stand-up, I would watch it incessantly because it's a different machine. You have to see how you're being perceived. In this world, we don't really have to do that. A little bit. But
I was about to say, what?
But not like that. I mean, I'm not selling a joke on the air for the camera, for our stream. I'm not trying to do that. On stage, you're trying to sell a punchline through your body language and stuff. And I would want to watch to make sure I'm getting it exactly right.
Both things, because I have so much footage of me doing stand-up of kind of checking the tape, seeing what's working, what's not, to the best that you possibly can, because it's all subjective. But both have the same end result of me trying to put myself into an audience member's pants.
Yeah.
And going, would this make sense to them if someone just turned this on?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird for me. I don't know why. It's probably that I don't like compliments thing. Not that people would compliment. It's just I don't like it. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't like promotion. I can't promote myself either, and that's a massive disadvantage in this business. I have a really difficult time doing that. Matter of fact, if I have one rub with the company that has been perpetual for years, it's the fact that I'm so bad at self-promotion. I find it embarrassing.
Yeah, it's bad. It's uncomfortable.
I find it so unbelievable, but I know people who are really good at it. I mean, unbelievably good at it, and it works quite well for them, and I am not that guy. I mean, Rollins is a self-promotion monster. I mean, no pun intended, but he is. He's very good at it. Sean and those guys are good at it as well. I'm so bad at it. It just seems so embarrassing to me. And again, not taking away any of what those guys are doing, because, I mean, that's what you have to do to be successful. I'm just so bad at it. I can't get past that weird hump of doing it. It just seems embarrassing to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I've absolutely felt that. But then I realized that
It's
this
the
is the
business we're in.
career
Right, yeah, exactly.
that somehow we fell into.
I'm in the wrong here. You need to get that out there. All right, 407-916-1041. Staying on the space travel thing for a couple seconds before we get to the top of the hour. Newsweek did this really cool story that scientists have uncovered a process that may help them explain why space travel appears to weaken the immune system of astronauts.
Yeah.
I'd never heard this before, but apparently when astronauts travel in space, many of the genes that play a role in immune functions are suppressed. They basically turn off. So that means a weaker immunity increase the risks of infectious diseases, limiting what astronauts can do or not do while they're in space doing repairs and things.
And again, that kind of lends back to that fake, well, I shouldn't say, the Mars simulation that the four non-astronauts just entered into, and that it's not really going to give them a snapshot, because that could be a very big part of living and working on Mars, is that if it lowers your immunity and you can't bring doctors in and you can't bring medicine in, and what you have is what you're stuck with.
And you don't even know what kind of infectious microbes may be in that environment. You don't know.
Or what might be triggered in your own body because those other genes have shut off.
You go out there, next thing you know, you want to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah. There's an increasing evidence that astronauts are more susceptible to infections while in space. Those who spend long stints aboard the ISS frequently suffer from conditions like skin rashes, respiratory and non-respiratory diseases. Not just like flare-ups, straight-up diseases they have to deal with. And astronauts tend to shed more live virus, as demonstrated with the Epstein-Barr virus and another pathogen that causes shingles.
Whoa.
So, I mean, when you're up there, I mean, not only are you, in one of the most hostile environments in our galaxy that we know of, on top of that, you are more susceptible to getting sick while doing it.
The hell is an Epstein-Barr?
It's a syndrome, Epstein-Barr syndrome.
Okay.
Let me
Does
see
it make you kill yourself?
No, it does not. Be careful.
Or make everybody question if you did or not?
Oh, it's the new law firm with Jeffrey Epstein's ghost and Bill Barr, former.
It's Epstein-Barr virus, also known as human herpesvirus 4, is a member of the herpes virus family. It is one of the most common human viruses.
So it's herpes.
I didn't even know there was a 4.
Well, how about that?
I thought it stopped at 3.
Well, that's like movies. No one pays attention after 3.
I thought there was HerpCon 3 and that was it.
Yeah.
No.
Herpes 4 ever after.
Herpes for you. The blood tubes are sent to the lab at the University of Ottawa for isolation of white blood cells in the genetic material we call RNA. Products of gene expression tell the story of how that they found out that the system is weakened while in space. Fascinating stuff, man.
And a whole new wrinkle to this continued exploration, because it opens up all kinds of new questions of how, does this mean new vaccines for just astronauts?
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of these, I am a stone cold moron. And I know that when we talk to Mike Leinbach and we ask him these questions like this, it must seem like talking to a roach about science, because you have no idea. Just when you think you could build the cool rocket and that's all you had to do. You get up there and oh, wow, we spent a couple $1 trillion on this. What next? Oh, you get a cold and die in an hour.
We ask him questions and it must sound like to him we want to know how the boom boom zoom zooms in the sky.
And when you sit in those meet an astronaut things over at the Space Center, which are absolutely fascinating, by the way.
One of the best experience. That was my mom's favorite part for last year's birthday was meeting an astronaut and asking my mom's questions.
Oh man. But when they talk, it is like they're talking to a dog, or you're trying to explain something in a foreign language. See, what happens is
Wow,
your blood turns to pudding.
I'm in the corner going, so like, did you see God? Did you see him?
All right, 407-916-1041. Back in a sec.
Tacos for Talkbacks is back, and we're giving away Tijuana Flats cash this Friday. Get the details at realradio.fm/taco.
Seeing slowdowns in the usual spots on I-4 this afternoon as you take the interstate east and westbound through downtown and by the major attractions exits. Looking at a crash causing some heavy stop-and-go delays westbound on the beach line that is currently blocking the right shoulder at the I-4 exit. A crash causing some slowdowns southbound on the turnpike blocking the shoulder near Mineola. Another crash on Sand Lake causing delays underneath the I-4 overpass. If you see other traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Wawa. Wawa Hoagie Fest is back, and they're celebrating 15 years of hoagie love with $5 shorties and $6 classics in any variety. Gotta have a Wawa.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-817-2974. 800-817-2974. 800-817-2974. That's 800-817-2974.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Now well-qualified returning FCA lessees get a low-mileage lease on select 2023 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 models in dealer stock for $409 a month for 39 months with $2,999 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. On tag 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo models invoiced prior to 5/4/23 while dealer stock lasts. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease request for capital. Current lease must end by 7/1/24. Extra charge for miles up to 32,500. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/5. Jeep is a registered trademark.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
WORK Work News Radio.
Next up, incidents of pressing all the elevator buttons unexpectedly spike on Bring Your Kid to Work Day. But first, the latest on a team lunch that wasn't ordered through Easy Cater.
I'm in the break room where lunch that was previously announced on the way has now been downgraded to hopefully soon.
Fingers crossed, Michelle. Fingers crossed.
Newsflash, it's hard when the food is late, but at EasyCater, we make hard easy. With food for work delivered on time and is ordered from over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
After an accident, it's important to hire an attorney right away. Evidence can disappear quickly. Sure, you could wait to hire an attorney later and see how things turn out, but delays never make a case better. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. JustCallMo.com. Mo DeWitt, Orlando's injury attorney.
Here's what Fence Outlet customers have to say about their experience.
The Fence Outlet team is knowledgeable and professional. They have fair prices and they take care of the permits. I'm very happy with my Fence Outlet fence.
Check them out for yourself at FenceOutlet.com. License number C10252 and C10803.
This is Steve Kramer. Let me tell you a business secret. There are sketch companies out there selling awards. Make sure the awards earned by your lawyer are from respected organizations. At Trenley Kramer Law, our lawyers have been recognized by Orlando Magazine Best Lawyers, Florida Trend Legal Elite, Super Lawyers, and listed in U.S. News as a best law firm for years. We've earned the awards that can't be bought. Trenley Kramer, TK Law, OneFirmForLife.com.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Office Orlando.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season and available in the produce section right now. Whoa, hey, careful now. There's plenty of juicy watermelon and other tasty Florida-grown produce for everyone. I mean, all you have to do is ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
At Morgan & Morgan, the fee is free. You don't pay us anything unless we win your case.
Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman & Lind Studios. Why Kaufman & Lind? Because your case matters. Contact them at whenyounneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Real Radio has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GREEN. 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 Enter it now on our website, realradio.fm. Good luck.
So apparently Facebook is still a thing? Search gym members and join our...
Ross, you weren't even meant to be in this decade, this era. You should have been from my era.
Oh, this song is so good. George Clinton is still the man.
Oh, my God. One of the best shows I have ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Because he continued to play, even when they closed the curtains. They continued to play. House lights went on, continued to play.
Did not care.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. One of my great life stories will always involve P-Funk and George Clinton.
The P-Funk All-Stars. Come on.
There must have been 40 guys as part of that crew that came in and played that gig. We opened for him one time with the Monster Band for a New Year's gig, and that was a surreal moment. One of his crew members asked me to make him a sandwich.
Hell yeah.
And he was rolling a joint that he could have beat you to death with while doing so. There had to have been 2 ounces of weed in that joint, and I was like, man, where are you going to smoke that? What are you going to do with that? That looks like a torch that you would storm Frankenstein's castle with.
A straight burrito.
Yeah. 407-916-1041. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here along with Ross. What was the keyword, buddy? Did we play that?
Yeah. The keyword is green.
Yeah, there you go. GREEN. Go to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000. Green. That is your keyword.
We have the smartest audience in all of radio. You know that.
Okay.
77031. Someone texted us to let us know the participants in the Mars mission.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to give the details?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Research scientist Kelly Haston, structural engineer Ross Brockwell, emergency medicine physician Nathan Jones, and U.S. Navy microbiologist Anka Selaru were selected from a pool of applicants to be part of NASA's Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog, or CHPEA, in its first year-long mission. None of them, again, are trained astronauts.
We got half of them right, didn't we?
Yeah.
Engineer and doctor had to be one of those for sure.
Smart thinking with the microbiologist as well.
Yeah. And they got to procreate.
All right, 407-916-1041. That's a good question, though. They're going to be there for a year. What about their spouses? Boy, that is if they're married, that's a hell of a commitment, isn't it? I mean, even when you go into the military as someone who's married, you do get breaks to be able to meet, and you can fly out and see somebody.
Can't when you're on Mars.
You cannot do that here. You cannot step out. That's crazy, man. That's a hell of a commitment.
Plus, what do you do if there is attraction between any of the 4?
Yeah, that's a great question. And on top of that, I don't know if they're getting paid for this. I'm sure they are, right?
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Is that what you? I mean, what would they have to do for you, Ross? I mean, for you to go into a dome and look at Olivia and go, listen, man, here's an opportunity. They're going to give you like $1 million, staying there for a year.
It's been real.
And, do you go in there for that? I mean, is $1 million enough?
$1 million, yeah.
$1 million to not be around your wife for an entire year after only being married for What?
Not
about
a
a year?
Not even a year. Yeah, I would do it. And I would, you know what would happen? I would look at my wife and I would go, listen, there's been an opportunity that I can make $1 million and all I have to do. And then she would say, yep.
It would not matter what it is.
Not really.
Yeah,
I think it might be a bonus that she's like, and I don't get to see you for a year.
Yeah, I think my wife actually signed me up for this without me knowing.
I've been submitted 42 times in the last week.
I'm like, baby, this is not a karaoke joke. I'm going into a dome for a year.
Yep, I know. Bye-bye.
I packed.
Yep, sayonara. I got you some Mars candy.
Did you do it, Deb?
For a little joke.
Hell no.
No way.
Mm-mm.
No way.
Mm-mm. Because I have no interest living on Mars.
No,
Yeah, but what about for our? Do you have interest in having $1 million?
Yeah. Do you think that you could be away from Chris, your awesome fiance?
No.
For 1 year for that? No.
Or from the sky or from green.
Yeah.
I would go crazy before the last lock was.
Oh, and no smoking.
No more.
Well, it's not even that. It's just you can't. I know for me. Like I've spoken this before. I love New York City.
Mhm.
Love the vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Love the art scene. Just love New York City.
Love to visit.
Love to visit. There isn't enough green and there's too much sound. I'm one of those people who have to have access to the outside at all times.
Yeah, that's why in this hypothetical you're getting paid $1 million.
Yeah, but $1 million isn't worth after that year of what it could do.
Oh, that could buy a
to
lot
your
of therapy.
relationship.
Could buy a lot of therapy, Deb.
Not
Yeah.
really. It's only $1 million.
Yeah, no more job. Days off.
But you think about it, though. I mean, you think about what they had to go through to find these people. Not only did they have to have the certifications, not only did they have to have that, they had to be able to spend a year away from their loved ones. That's family as well, not just your wife or your husband.
Oh, that's friends,
That's your family. You're
coworkers.
gonna miss graduations. You're gonna miss
Your
birthday
pets.
parties and Christmas and
I
Thanksgiving.
mean, just think about it. That year that you could be in there for that $1 million, something could happen to your cat or dog, and then when you get out, they're gone. I mean,
you could have
so much that could happen in that year. To me, just isn't $1 million. Isn't worth it.
And you can have no habits.
I
mean, you can't sneak gummies in there or anything because anything like theoretically, if you're on a ship going to Mars, doesn't take like 8, 9, 10 months, 12 months, something like that to get there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the whole idea. Then you get there, and you can every ounce of weight, every bit of weight is measured when they launch these craft because for every ounce on top of the weight that they have designated for that lift, they have to add thrust to get that thing into orbit and to send it on its way. So there's no sneaking anything in there. So you can have no habits. None of that stuff. None of your sodas. None of your chewing gum.
Yep.
No corn on the cob. No fried chicken. Nothing you like. It's done.
Can you imagine the battery of tests that these 4 individuals, when you think that this call for people who are willing to do this experiment was put out 2 years ago, the number of applicants that must have applied, I'm sure, was in the thousands, all to whittle it down to these 4 individuals. So not only did their jobs have to match what they're going to need to have in place, but their personality. I mean, when you think of what regular astronauts went through from the G-force testing to the mental toughness sitting on top of basically, a silo of burning fuel.
Right.
Can you handle that?
Well, with the exception of sexual assault and the threat of death daily, it would be worse than prison. Because even with prison, you get a little activity time. You get to hang out with other people. You get to see people that have, you get to talk to people.
You get to go outside.
You get to call your friends. You get to go outside.
You can watch TV.
You can't do any of that here, man. I think it would be way more difficult than you look. Even at $1 million, you look at it and go,
yeah.
I think your mental health would struggle mightily, man.
That's my biggest fear.
I think you are still underestimating how much I look at $1 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. $1 million, if you have that in straight cash, capital in your bank account, right? Throw that in your savings account. You can live off of interest rates.
Theoretically, with the interest rate that we have now through our Apple Card at like 4%, you'd make a pretty good dime just doing a whole bunch of nothing.
And I would make the argument that you would actually experience more life taking a year out for $1 million.
Now, that would be hard to explain.
No, because if you read our texting service at 77031, one after the other, I've been married 25 years. I do it for $20.
Some people may feel they're already there.
Married 11 years with 5 kids. Sign me up. I'll do it for $10K.
Yeah, again, I understand because we're talking about it in a comedic manner. But I believe if you really looked at the totality of what they're asking these people to do,
it's a far bigger ask.
It is a really big ask. I'm telling you, they would have to hit me up it would have to be way more than $1 million to get me to lock myself in a room like this. Even if I had no responsibilities, even if it was just go in this room and live, right? And we'll give you, I don't even know what kind of entertainment they have because I don't know what they plan on having in those facilities on Mars. I don't know what that environment plans to look like.
You could tube feed me and have me stare at a wall.
I'm telling you, dude.
For $365. And if I know it's $1 million at the end of it and I don't have to do much besides experience, and this is my argument for saying I think you're going to experience more life if you take a year off of it and then not have to work.
Yeah, I don't think that, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what that. Again, this is my perspective. Is work to me makes me kind of feel alive. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people don't have that gene, but a lot of people love going to work. They love their jobs. They want to get in there every day. They like the people they work with. They like the environment in which they work.
You think 51% people feel that way?
This is a good Twitter poll, by the way. Would you do the Mars experiment for $1 million?
We can certainly put this up, and I think we've asked this before. Of whether or not you could do that. And a lot of people, I believe, do say, maybe not.
I mean, you're talking about working, depending on also a massive variable in this equation is how old you are.
Yeah.
Because,
you think it would be easier when you're young or easier if you're older?
Or just saying that if you're 70, I don't think $1 million hits as hard as if you're 33.
Right.
And you go, whoa, that will change. Maybe I'm being too naive and stupid. Does $1 million, if you live modestly, that's a lifetime?
I don't know.
If you play your cards right?
Not a lifetime, but if you would have to make you'd have to make a good investment. I would think you'd have to make a good investment with at least some of that money to guarantee yourself dividends that would pay you a substantial or at least a living wage. I think you would have to find something that's making you 5-7% return, 8% return. To make between let's say 50 and 80 grand. You got to remember, this is now money. And even 50, I think in today's culture isn't considered a good salary. I think you got to get into the 65 range before that's considered a pretty good salary. Maybe not even then. I think maybe it's 75 that's considered a good salary.
All right. So if we go $1 million into a savings account with $0 monthly contribution, and what are we doing let's go 10 years?
Yeah, 4.5%.
10 years at 4.15, which is the Apple Card.
Right.
4.15. You are still broke. No.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have, should be 400 grand or something like that, right?
Well,
it's going to be a lot.
Something like that.
So just as a real quick example, so $250,000 in New York City shakes out to be about $83,000.
Yeah, because the cost of living is a joke.
Along the same thing in Honolulu and San Francisco.
Yep. Seattle's the same way too, I believe.
So
Seattle, the cost of living in Seattle is gross. Man, it never gets credit for being up there because San Francisco does on the West Coast and LA.
Right.
But I'm telling you, my kids lived in that area for a while and it is gross. Denver's bad. Denver's kind of like Orlando, actually. The downtown's about the same, but the rural areas in Denver are so unbelievably expensive. Here in Orlando, you can get outside the area, with the exception of a few neighborhoods.
Right.
You could still find a reasonable place to live. There, it just doesn't like that.
$1 million in a savings account at 4.15 APR a year. After 10 years, you're at 1.5 mil.
Yeah. It's about 400. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I can live off of the rest of my life. I could pay off a house, no more mortgage.
Yeah.
You just live, honestly, semi-modestly, as long as you have some discipline for the first 5 years.
I was going to say, but could you do that? That's the thing is understanding you have that money in the bank and then not spending it. Realize, hey, I can't touch the principal. I have to just live on this interest because if I start touching the principal, it's going to affect everything else. I think it's way more difficult than you think, man. That's why a lot of people who get nouveau riche wind up broke because they don't understand the mechanics of money. and they go out and spend it all on stupid stuff and don't make any investments.
Someone else texted that you're going to have to farm, cook, repair, get rid of waste, compost. This would be more work in 1 year than you've done in your entire life.
And maybe that would be the saving grace, the fact that you would be so busy just maintaining your life that you wouldn't have to worry about the time passing. All right, 407-916-1041, Brandon Kravitz with sports up next.
You know you can always text us.
Unless you're driving.
At 77031. Standard data and message rates apply. Real Mobile is powered by Orange Buick GMC and OrangeBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
From the Goldsmith Jewelry Shop Traffic Center. Lowest prices on the highest quality jewelry. GoldsmithJewelry.com.
Still looking at some slowdowns on I-4 this afternoon. Eastbound on the interstate, there is a crash blocking the right shoulder just before Lake Mary Boulevard, causing stop-and-go delays. Heavy traffic still reported eastbound between 536 and 535, and westbound on the interstate between Sand Lake Road and Central Florida Parkway. A disabled vehicle blocks the right lane northbound on Florida's Turnpike as you're approaching I-4. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Team.
This report is sponsored by Wawa. Wawa Hoagie Fest is back, and they're celebrating 15 years of hoagie love with $5 shorties and $6 classics in any variety. Gotta have a Wawa.
This earful of Real Radio is sponsored by Marco's Pizza.
Get your tickets now
at AXS.com
for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Coming back to Las Vegas.
2 nights.
September 22nd and 23rd.
1 stage.
At T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live. Only on Hulu.
This is the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival now.
Before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
That's AXS.com.
Every day you breathe in thousands of tiny little germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Doug, a verified Navage user who writes, I had difficulty for years breathing through my nose. After using Navage, my whole breathing has changed. My sinuses don't hurt, and no more stuffy nose. It's an amazing product. Unquote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Every dog has its day, and now it has its own exhibit, too. Orlando Science Center explores the science behind where dogs came from, how they experience the world, and what makes our bond with them so special. In Dogs, A Science Tale, hands-on exhibits will let you see, hear, and smell the world just like dogs do. You'll have a ball sniffing out hidden smells, testing your speed against different breeds, and examining dogs and their role in history and culture. Step into the role of archaeologist and dig deep into the story of our forever friends. Get tickets at osc.org.
If it's a day that ends in Y, you're probably stuck in Florida traffic. So turn that AC up one more notch, aim the vents toward your face, and think of a better place, like the cool, colorful produce section in your favorite grocery store. Why? Because that's where all the cool, colorful, fresh from Florida produce is. Produce just tastes better when it's grown closer to home. And when you buy fresh from Florida, you're supporting local farmers and jobs in our communities. So after you're done being stopped in traffic, pick up some fresh from Florida on your way home.
Attention business owners. Was your company impacted during COVID? If you had W-2 employees during 2020 and 2021, you may be entitled for up to $26,000 per employee through the Employee Retention Credit Program. This is not alone. The IRS paid back billions already. We've helped thousands of businesses just like yours, so let us help you. At ERC Business Solutions, we make it simple. We do it all for you, so you won't have to worry about the complex application process. There's absolutely no risk. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. Most businesses do qualify, even those with no decline in revenues or those that already got PPP. Discover how much you can claim. There's no cost or obligation. Call now. 800-375-1175. That's 800-375-1175. Get up to $26,000 per employee. Call 800-375-1175. 800-375-1175.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
Get ready to save with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering fast and reliable speeds for $49.99 a month. Free advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security. And a free Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Go to spectrum.com/save more and use the Spectrum One savings calculator to see how much you can save today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
Rover's Morning Glory.
It's The Woody Show.
It's Elliot in the morning.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
All of the best free curated playlists.
It's everything that rocks.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome. All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
Welcome to The Good Stuff. I'm Jacob Schick, a third-generation combat Marine.
And I'm his co-host and wife, Ashley Schick. We believe everyone has a story to tell, not only about the peaks, but the valleys they've been through to get them to where they are today. We're joined by some amazing guests who share the lessons they've learned that shaped who they are and what they're doing to pay it forward and give back.
Listen to The Good Stuff on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
If you suffered an injury at a place of business, dial pound wall. That's all. Morgan & Morgan.
Obviously, this is why YouTube was created. Obviously, at Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. 4 o'clock keyword is green, GREEN. Kick it over to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000 already today. First day of the gig. The Monsters out of the blocks with the winner this morning, so the money is already there. Green is your 4 o'clock keyword. Get over there and get that cash for sure. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
And Ross is here.
It's Rack City.
You guys give it up for my good friend and our sports director, Mr. Brandon Kravitz.
Yay! He's our friend, too.
Yeah. 96.9 The Game. You can see him and hear him every single day from 6 until 9 talking sports right across the hallway.
All right. I'm the sports director, too.
Yeah, BK. Good to see you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a little bit.
I just got promoted by Jim Colbert.
It's easy.
Yeah. This is awesome.
There's no rules.
Just tell him to send me the bill. We'll take care of it. No problem whatsoever.
All right.
Congratulations on your new guy, too, by the way. I know that he's just in testing, but he seems like a good kid.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to announce that yet, but you go ahead and do it.
So looks, I didn't say the guy's name. I said he's a good kid. He looks like a good kid.
Right out the gate, man.
I said congratulations on training your new guy, if he's maybe going to make it.
They didn't say anything about Jim not announcing it, you know?
What's that guy, like 6'4"? What's he got a good little fadeaway?
I can't talk about it.
All right, very good.
Just keep going, though, Jim.
All right, let's talk about some things we can talk about. So, NBA draft was this past week. We didn't get to talk to you about it because you were on vacation. But, and, you know, I will tell you, this time next year, you and I are going to do a combined NBA draft party. It's sickened me to know that we didn't do it this year, that we should have done that for sure. As much as our shows like each other, we should be doing something in conjunction, and we're going to do that next year.
Okay, let me stop you right there for two reasons. One is positive, one is negative.
Okay, good.
One, I love the idea of our shows doing something together. I don't know why we've never thought about it until now, but there's clear synergy there.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we got people out to the Trop. We had a Zone Heads Day in St. Petersburg, and our dudes and ladies showed up. It was awesome. We had such a good time out there. So we definitely need to do that. The bad news is that next year's draft is supposed to be one of the worst in years.
Okay.
And the Magic shouldn't have a pick that anybody's interested in.
Okay, then we'll do the NFL. Well, we're going to do something together next year.
Okay.
We have to do something
Why
together.
don't you hitch your wagon to our NFL draft
Look,
party?
I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. I would glad because I've been to one of your NFL parties, and they're a blast, and they're packed.
Oh, yeah. This year, I think we blew it out of the water.
Oh,
Mackenzie
man.
Milton was there.
I cannot wait. I would love to do that. And I have some hookups as well. Maybe we can get some other people out there
I
as
like
well.
this. I like where we're headed.
I like
This is
this
a
as well.
real solid brainstorm sesh that we've got going on. So my negative was really a hidden positive because if the Magic are in the same position next year,
we don't
where
want that.
we're excited about the draft, something went terribly wrong. This is supposed to be the last time that we get all geeked up about this. This team should really start to turn things around, and the draft should just kind of come and go
Then
with
tell me
not
this.
a lot of time spent on it.
Then tell me this. Why is nobody talking about the Magic and their draft choices then? That's the thing that I did notice this week after the draft. I went, it was like winners and losers. Everybody does it. Every news agency out there has their, here's who won in the draft. Here's who lost in the draft. The Magic weren't even mentioned, and they had 2 picks in the first in the first round under the 15th pick, 6 and 11. Why isn't anybody talking about these picks? You know what I hear? Well, they don't really need Anthony Black, and Jet wasn't supposed to be picked or down the road or whatever. So although I'm very, very anxious to see the Magic play this year, I have fully committed to watch every single game that I can watch within reason. I am fully committed. I believe this management team finally has a grip on what they're doing. The team looked good last year, even with the one addition of Paolo. And this year, 2 first-rounders coming in. But I haven't seen anybody talking about how those 2 picks are going to help this basketball team. Help me out.
Okay, well, there's a couple of reasons. One, on a national level, NBA writers and national sports personalities will not go out of their way to talk Orlando Magic basketball, not until the Magic force them into that situation in a similar way that the Denver Nuggets have, that the Phoenix Suns have.
You know what I can liken it to? The Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about them. All of a sudden now Joe Burrow comes on board, and now everybody talks about them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is that 1 or 2 players that make it happen, but this team has been mired in mediocrity or worse for so long. There's really no reason for the national press to pay attention to them.
Absolutely,
but I thought
which is why they're not getting any of it.
But we do have the Rookie of the Year, and we had 2 first-round draft picks and solid management. I mean, to me, they should be part of the conversation in the East, which is already a nightmare.
Right. Well, but in the NBA, the sport is just covered differently, where Joe Burrow the Bengals are covered because of Joe Burrow. Paolo Banchero does get coverage as an individual.
Yeah.
The Magic don't get coverage as a team. Paolo's actually been in the national spotlight quite a bit. He's in commercials.
That was so awesome to see an Orlando Magic star in a national commercial not too long ago.
Yeah, he was part of the NBA Finals coverage for their website, and some of the clips had gone viral of him interviewing Nikola Jokic at the finals and all of that. And so he is definitely getting that attention, but just because he gets it doesn't mean the team gets it.
Right.
So there seems to be a divide there. I think the other part of it is mock drafts. Mock drafts did not have those guys going in those spots, especially Jet Howard. I looked at all the mock drafts. There wasn't a single one that had Jet Howard going in the top 11.
Right.
That guy was somewhere in the 15 to 24 range. And so when the people that are putting out that content, which are the same ones that you go back and read the grades, they're the same ones that put out the mock drafts. When the guys get drafted ahead of where they had them mocked, all of a sudden it's a bad pick.
Right.
And we do that too. I went on Twitter. I had this reaction. I was sitting on the couch at the beach house I was staying in last week, and I hated it in the moment. I hated the Magic draft in the moment because I had geeked myself up for certain names, and those were not the names that the Magic wound up with. And then I go on Twitter. It's the exact same response. And I go, okay, time to take a step back, Brandon. You've got to think about this. If every nerd on Twitter thinks that they know better than the guys who have scouted these players for 365 days, we might be looking at this through the wrong lens.
They know their shoe size, their grandmother's name, what they like for breakfast. They know everything about them.
It's just funny the way that we do this in the NBA. I get it more in the NFL or where you've watched the guy in college for 2 to 3 years and you really feel like you know that player.
Right.
In the NBA, for you to get attached to a guy, like I wanted one of the Thompson twins or I wanted Cam Whitmore. I watched these guys for a cup of coffee in the tournament, and then some awesome highlights on YouTube, which every player has.
Right.
How well do I actually know what I'm watching? Yeah. I was all bent out of shape, and my wife, sometimes I love the way that she is able to add perspective as kind of like a whatever sports fan.
She just told you to shut up.
I throw my hands up and I go, what is this team doing right now? And she goes, why do you think you know better than the people making the decisions? And I go, damn, we should be in a fight right now, but you're 100% right.
You should get rid of her immediately.
You've got individuals, that's harsh. You've got individuals whose full-time jobs it is to make these decisions, and we sit there.
Hey, but that's all Moneyball, dude. They don't know it all.
We sit there and act like we know better.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if you're talking about a management team, the guys making the decisions, if they continuously swing and miss, then you can sit there on the couch and you can be critical about the decisions when it doesn't align with what you thought would happen. But that's not the case with Jeff Weltman and John Hammond. They continue to hit on their picks.
And do we know what kind of basketball team they're trying to set up? I mean, we know what the Golden State Warriors are. We obviously know what the Nuggets are. We know what the Lakers look like. But when on the court, do we know what the Magic are going to be? Are they going to be small and fast and long? Are they going to be big in the middle? Obviously, not going to be that. We don't have a giant big. I mean, we do have a big.
I think that they are telling you exactly what they want to be. And that's one of the things I do really like genuinely about this draft class is that they have a mission. And I love when teams in any sport draft with a specific purpose of the type of team you want to be. It tells me that you have a vision and you're not just randomly selecting players and hoping that it works out. They want length on top of length on top of length. If Anthony Black and Jet Howard, they're not going to start this year, but let's say by the following season, these guys are starters on the team along with the other players that are pretty locked into their positions, Paolo, Franz, and Wendell Carter. They would have a lineup where no player on the team is shorter than 6'7". It would be 6'7", 6'8", 6'10", 6'10", 6'10". That would be their lineup. And these are versatile players. These aren't just guys that are standing there that are tall statues.
Right,
You're talking about tall players with versatility that can shoot inside, outside, that can pass. And you know who we just saw win the NBA championship? A team with length and versatility. This is what the Magic are trying to build.
And Denver's a technical basketball team as well. And I know that Weltman has that thing in his where he likes that. But after doing some research on Anthony Black, man, this guy looks pretty hard in the middle. They both have great life stories. Jet Howard, of course, the son of NBA legend Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
So that we know that they come from a basketball culture. But his highlight reel wasn't as impressive as Black's. And of course, obviously, you understand that they're drafting for a specific job, I believe. What jobs do you see these guys having? And by the way, do you think they'll keep these two players?
Yeah, I do. Assuming that it goes well. But they're not going to trade them out of the gate. They'll see what they can get or see what they get out of these guys. But I think if they trade anybody, it'll be some of the players on the roster, which is going to be an interesting wrinkle to all of this because now they have more guards than they can really play with.
And that's my point. One of the things is you drafted guards. We had guards. We need shooters. Obviously people who can score outside the perimeter.
Well, that's why
we were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league last year, right?
That's Howard, right?
Correct. And that is the purpose of drafting Jet Howard. And they drafted him over guys that we know from, I think we just followed closer during their college careers. Grady Dick and Jordan Hawkins are the two top examples. Those are two of the best three-point shooters in college basketball. Hawkins played for the national championship UConn Huskies and was lights out in the biggest moments. The guy moves around the court like Curry. So I really wanted to see them end up with a player like that. Well, they drafted Jet. They have the same eyeballs that I do. They drafted Jet Howard over that guy, so they must think that they're getting one hell of a three-point shooter, who also, by the way, is 6'8", which Jordan Hawkins is not.
Right.
And then with the Anthony Black pick, I think they're probably drafting the heir apparent to Markelle Fultz because if they're being honest with themselves, really nice point guard, still hasn't developed a jump shot, and we can't trust his injury history.
We cannot.
So if he continues to miss time, all of a sudden, okay, now we're able to move off this guy. Markelle Fultz becomes an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Oh, so this is the year.
If Fultz spends time on the injury report, you'll see Anthony Black become the starting point guard in a year.
And that's where he's been.
If he develops.
I mean, he's just been injured all the time. Every time you turn around, he's injured. It's almost like Jonathan Isaac. Every time you look up, this guy's
it's not as bad as Isaac.
Sprained an eyelid or something. I don't know.
So Anthony Black, two-way court, right? Great defender, traditional point guard.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's kind of like, are you familiar with Josh Giddey?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Oklahoma City. So he's taller. I mean, he's 6'7",
Hell
so
yeah.
the guy is super lanky. He's got length, and so that's what makes him dangerous in the paint because, he's got size to him.
He's tenacious as well, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he
wow.
is.
I love you bringing the cliches to me.
Yeah, he's tenacious,
It
dude.
gets
I'm
me
telling
going.
you, I love that.
My insides are burning.
Saw that
right now.
highlight reel. I was like, that man he follows his shot, does the basics.
Yeah.
Really just
All right.
hawks the basketball,
There you
which I
go.
like.
Oh, hawks.
Yeah.
I like it. The thing you got to love the most about Anthony Black, the one thing that will pop out instantaneously when you watch him.
His hair.
Is this hair.
Yeah, it's very good.
And okay, you're right. Number two,
Very sideshow Bobby.
He is his basketball IQ, his court vision, incredible passer, kind of sees the play before it develops. That kind of guy that you just, the way I thought about it with Anthony Black, it wasn't I didn't think it was a bad pick in the moment. It just didn't get me excited because there were other guys that I was more amped up about. But when they took him, I went, the best way to describe it, if you want to be positive about it, drafting a player like Anthony Black will never make your team worse.
Right.
It'll always make your team a little bit better.
Let me ask you something because I find this fascinating. We've talked in the past about how much this team loves each other. You've been in the locker room. You've talked to these players. These players have a genuine respect for each other. These guys want to win for each other. They hold each other accountable. Do you think that drafting two players that seemingly had that same kind of cultural setting would have come into play when they chose a guy like Anthony Black and Jet Howard over other players that maybe more skilled players? They chose them maybe for the locker room. And the reason I bring this up is there's a viral social media post going around where they asked Shaq who was the worst person he ever played with, and he said without question it was Dennis Rodman. And it was because of all the stuff that Dennis did. He goes, but you couldn't say anything to him because he got you 27 rebounds a night or 20 rebounds a night. So you couldn't say anything, but everybody hated him.
Yeah.
Now, they won out of sheer talent and sheer, just because they had a bunch of great players, but you don't want that on your team, especially if you already have a core of people who really respect each other. Do you think that came into play? They seem like good people. Their life stories are awesome.
Yeah, they are. And they fit the locker room culture perfectly. I think I'd be lying to myself if I said that didn't have something to do with it, because they're clearly trying to bring a certain type of personality. And it's one of the things I think for some Magic fans out there, it annoys them that this team year after year doesn't have a lot of edge to it, but edge can also be disruptive. The bad side of edge is the Memphis Grizzlies. They had Dylan Brooks, who talked a bunch of trash that he couldn't back up, and then you have that idiot John Moran, who's flashing fake guns on Instagram and getting himself suspended.
What a moron.
Okay, so those guys have edge. You want that?
I do not.
That edge? Is that cool to you?
Has the movement started already? Because if not, I will coin it right now. Black Magic?
I have heard it already.
Oh, come on.
So now you have to just get behind it.
Come on.
I really wanted to credit you with that.
I'm behind Black Magic. I full two-thumb support for Black Magic.
It's a great nickname. I mean, it's obvious. When it comes to you that easily, you're just like, you can't be anything else.
Somebody might want to check with him.
Perhaps
if he's down.
I think he'll probably like it. By the way, Jet Howard, the 11th overall pick in the draft, the second pick by the Magic, will be on my show in 23 minutes.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, I saw him and his mom and dad, of course, legendary John Howard. His mom is beautiful, by the way, and was dressed like a little doll or something. It was really bizarre.
Well, when your dad plays in the NBA, he usually does pretty well for himself.
Can you tell him that Jim feels that way?
Yeah, it's absolutely. He's absolutely gorgeous. It was striking. I wanted to hear what he had to say, but I couldn't stop looking at his mom.
Let's say, hey, Jet, if this thing doesn't work out with Juwan and your mom, I've got someone who's interested.
I know this bald guy in Orlando that's still married to a beautiful woman himself, but...
And he kind of looks like, white John Howard. He's got the goatee.
Get out of here.
It checks out.
We have no time, but I'm going to ask you about Orlando City soccer either way. Also, the College World Series is going on. It's been a battle. Last night, Florida hung like 1,000 runs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Was it LSU?
Yeah, I kind of worry for Florida. It almost seems like they took all the gas out of the tank. Baseball's a weird sport where you can put up 20 one day and one the next.
And go get no hit.
Yeah, this kind of stuff happens. So it's not like... I don't see that sort of output coming again. And LSU's going to throw the big arms at them tonight. So it should be a great game. I don't get all that into college baseball, but tonight this is must-watch TV, 7 o'clock on ESPN, LSU versus Florida. That'll be exciting.
SEC battle, man. I love it.
Yeah, they're owning the college sports world because they spend more money than anybody else to do it. And then with Orlando City, another draw, 0-0. I don't know how to break down these games. When nobody scores, I don't know what to tell you. I just leave it up to Ross.
More times than not, a 0-0 on the road, you're going to take that, especially against a pretty good team in Philadelphia. I understand they had a lot of players on the rest, but I think even
this was Seattle, though. Right?
Yeah, I apologize. Seattle. Which is, they're the ones, they're the Kings of the Pacific Northwest. They are traditionally always a great MLS franchise.
And by the way, anytime you have to fly coast to coast, I mean, that's as far as you can go to play Major League Soccer in this country.
Yeah, they played Philadelphia on Wednesday, and then quick turnaround to Seattle on Saturday.
Yeah, they got 2 points out of it. So really not bad. A little dull, but not bad.
The loss stung because that was such a winnable game, and it was a fluke of a world-class, I mean, one of the best goals I've seen on a television screen tied that game in the 90th minute last Wednesday.
Wow.
So,
well, buddy, it's always good seeing you. Thanks for the great analysis.
Blast as always. I can't wait until our collaborative effort whenever that comes.
Well, we're going to make that happen. Don't forget Jet Howard coming up on the In the Zone here in just a few minutes with Brandon Kravitz. Thanks, buddy. Good seeing you.
Appreciate it.
All right, 407-916-1041. Back in a sec with more of the Jim Colbert Show.
Black Magic!
Coming up tonight on Real Radio at 7. It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan. Brought to you by Gringos Locos and SecuredRoofingAndRestoration.com. At 9 p.m., it's Real Laughs with comedians James, Miguel, Mike, and Ken. And Real Music starts tonight at 10 on Real Radio 104.1.
This weather report is brought to you by Mills Air.
Hey everybody, Jamie King with you now, Fox 35 Storm Center. Just want to update and freshen up the forecast for you on this Monday here in Central Florida as we approach midday. Hot and humid today, 95, feeling more like 103 though during the afternoon with a feels-like temp. Rain chance of 20% or less, mainly after 3 or 4 p.m. An evening shower chance tonight, 20%, lows to 75, partly cloudy. And on Tuesday, hot high 96, rain chance 20%, 40% on Wednesday, highs at 95. For Fox 35, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jamie King. Take care.
This report is sponsored by Phantom Fireworks.
Just a reminder for this and every 4th of July that the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air are brought to backyards across America by Phantom Fireworks. Visit fireworks.com for specials, coupons, and a location near you.
It happens every day. Regular people are winning every single day. Whether it's $500 or $50,000, anybody can win. Because when they win, I feel like I'm winning.
Hi, my name is Kong. I won over $100,000 playing Baccarat. You can pick banker or player, and if you pick the right side, the odds in your favor.
My name is Janelle, and I won a brand new BMW. I screamed, I hollered. That's me, that's me.
Anybody could win at Seminole Hard Rock, Tampa.
Must be 21 to play slots or table games. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Here's how to avoid a top mistake in divorce. Text messages and social media posts can wind up in front of a judge. Act accordingly. Don't post like a fool. Divorce? Trenley Kramer Law. TK Law. OneFirmForLife.com.
Baby boomers and retirees, protect yourself from the coming tidal wave of higher taxes. This administration's spend and tax schemes, along with their failed economic policies, are only going to add more to the taxes already being taken of your retirement savings. You can gain retirement tax protection from national talk show wealth strategist and best-selling author Chuck Oliver of The Hidden Wealth Solution. Learn how you can get a head start to be retirement tax smart. Imagine learning proven solutions, saving thousands in unnecessary taxes. Visit retirementprotected.com. Retirementprotected.com.
Having your home damaged in a storm can leave you and your family feeling like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Understanding your rights and what your homeowner's policy covers is important. Our team of storm loss attorneys are ready to help you pick up the pieces. If your property has been damaged in a storm, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Orlando.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. New South makes windows that are energy efficient and hurricane resistant. You get both. New South is the factory and eliminates the middleman. Don't even think of buying windows until you see what our factory can do for you.
Going on now. Save 35% off. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
Your spark is all you need. And let's be real, you don't have time for smoke and mirrors anyway. So ditch all the pretentiousness and the lighter it rode in on with Blue. Blue e-cigs are available in a variety of satisfying flavors and nicotine strengths. Even better, it's odorless. When you're living unlit, you're comfortable being your true you, and no one will mistake ashtray for your signature scent. Blue, get unlit. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Blue is a trademark of Fontum Holdings 4BV. Copyright 2022. Fontum US LLC.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep. And a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements. Learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better. Night after night. Sleep next level. Only from Sleep Number.
The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 Smart Bed is now only $899, plus special financing. Ends Monday. See store for details.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Eating good is about more than just tasty food. Eating good is about doing good, too. And that's exactly what Fresh from Florida is all about. Supporting local Florida farmers, creating jobs in our communities, and of course, making sure you can enjoy all the fresh flavors Florida has to offer. Because produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. So eat good tonight. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Win the battle against rust and corrosion with PB Blaster at O'Reilly Auto Parts. PB Blaster quickly busts loose rusted, corroded, or frozen parts. PB Blaster is great for everything from bolts to frozen locks. Right now, pick up an 11-ounce bottle of PB Blaster for just $6.99, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This earful of real radio is brought to you by JustCallMo.com.
Injured on the go? JustCallMo.com. Radio.
If you don't know what web goals are, consider yourself lucky. If you feel like helping out, go to JimColbertLive.com and look at stuff.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. Text us easily at 77031. Your 4 o'clock keyword is green, Green. Got a few minutes left. Kick it over to realradio.fm and send that off for your chance at $1,000. Had a winner this morning. The Monsters gave $1,000 away. We'd love to do it today, so get over there. Green, again, is your 4 o'clock keyword. We'll have a freshie for you at the top of the hour. Welcome back. I'm Jim. Deb and Ross are here as well.
It's true.
Impossible not to like Brandon Kravitz, by the way.
He's a great guy.
He is.
Impossible not to like Brandon Kravitz.
Could you tell, though, that he was fresh from a vacation?
He was fresh from a vacation. It was very high-steppy.
Do you think we're going to get that with Jack?
I don't know. Jack is perpetually miserable. I don't know.
Do you guys ever go on vacation? And then about like day 2, you're miserable.
On the vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't get that.
Day 2 on a vacation, I'm so not used to not working.
Oh, yeah.
That I just don't know what to do with my hands.
So there's
I don't know what.
There is certainly an anxiety that goes with that. Like even when I left Friday for that little bit, even though I don't listen to the show or anything, I knew you guys were perfectly fine. You know, obviously in charge 2 pros. I mean, Sabrina's been on the air for 10 years. By the way, congratulations, Snooze Junkie. I think it's 10 years this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, that show is a monster. And, of course, Deborah's been in the business longer than I have. So, and you've been doing this for 5 years. I was perfectly comfortable with you guys doing it. But there's still an anxiety that goes with that just because, you know, it's not you doing it. But I don't really think about it once I'm out of there. If I was playing golf, I would never think about the show one time ever. Not ever one time.
Which is a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't do it because, again, I've done it for so long. I've done so many shows and talked about so much stuff that you realize just as long as you have conversation on things that are happening that are meaningful in people's lives, you know, they're going to listen. It doesn't, you know, almost doesn't matter who's delivering it as long as they care about about the quality of the content. That's all.
I guess what I'm getting at is that sometimes in vacations, I experienced this when I went to Hawaii. I experienced this on a 5-day trip to northern Georgia, is that I still feel like I can't just sit here and do nothing.
Buddy, I have to tell you, that's a problem. And I will tell you, I have that, by the way. I bet a gigantic portion of our audience has that, where you feel like if you're not doing something, you're worthless.
Yeah. So, and it only exists for like the first day or 2 on a vacation, and then that like mentality breaks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, so this is normal This is where the brain is actually supposed to be at.
Here's what I had to convince myself of. And again, this is just reaching out to people I know for a fact who probably feel the same way. You don't have to be in this business. It can be in any business. I was horrified to take days off early in my career because I didn't want anybody to be able to replace me. I thought for sure that, well, they're going to forget who I am. They're not going to, they're not going to remember what I'm all about when I get back. And I'm that easily replaceable. And I bet a lot of people believe that way. Like if you have a new person coming in, comes into your office, and you've been there a few years, and they're kind of got that rookie, pep in their step, that you don't want to take time off, especially if they're in the same job you are. You don't want to give that competitor an opportunity to showcase themselves while you're out vacationing. Like that's the kind of anxiety I dealt with for many, many years. Now I do not care, not one bit, not even the least bit.
Yeah, I don't think
you're not replaceable. She's not replaceable. Well, replaceable is all relative, by the way.
I was going to say, I've always operated that I am.
Well, by the way, there are very famous people who do that very thing in business and in entertainment. Their drive has been, just simply put, I'm not going to allow anybody to outwork me or replace me. But if I was out doing anything, I would be the same exact way. I don't care if I was selling insurance, running a print shop, working at a restaurant, it wouldn't matter. I would feel the same exact way. I would not want to leave for an extended period of time because I wouldn't want to think that someone could come in and replace me.
And you no longer feel that way?
I do not feel that way now.
Okay.
I have enough years in this business to do not feel, and I've got enough, built up equity that I don't feel like I can get replaced for anything really easily, like just taking a long vacation. I don't feel like they're going to go, this guy Jim is really screwing us over. I know what the show makes for the company. I'm aware. So I don't really worry about that.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
But that's an anxiety a lot of people have, though, buddy. And listen, it doesn't matter how long you've been in. I mean, if you're in an industry that, if you're not producing, and we are, I mean, it's a different kind of way. But if you're not producing, you get called out. If you're a sales rep in this company or in this business or any business for that matter, and you're not producing numbers, and you take a long vacation, there's that young whippersnapper that came in, nice suits, everybody likes him, good jokes, does his hair every day, her hair every day, whatever the case may be. Man, I would look. You pay attention. You got to pay attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I just there's always something that can be done, I suppose. And sometimes I have a hard time not loving myself when there's a long list of things that it's just like a bunch of 3-minute activities.
You deal with that? Deborah, you deal with that? Like when you're off and taking vacations and stuff, do you deal with the anxiety of you feel like somebody else is going to come in and do the job, or you feel like you're going to be missed or forgotten?
Yes and no. Generally no, because this wasn't a career I planned to have. I mean, I literally entered a contest.
I totally forget about that all the time.
I entered a contest to fill in for the day.
Yeah.
And then
really,
a couple of years later,
sure.
Walk away with a career. So I remember the first time when they were making a change at XL, and Doc was like, "Are you sure? Don't you want to stay in radio?" And I was like, "Doc, I never planned this.
Yeah, never planned it.
I never planned it. So if I get to stay in it, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
But vacation time and traveling, it's so precious, and we don't get to do it very often.
You got to take advantage of it, and you got to live in it, don't you?
Because you're a better person and you're a better employee when you get back, and that anxiety hanging on your back doesn't make you better on either end.
I have learned to check out when I do the cruise thing. I am on that boat 3 minutes, phone in the safe, drink in the hand.
And I can get to that point, but it takes me roughly 50 hours.
Yeah, I could see that because and then the trip planning, because 9 times out of 10, right, you're working extra hours, you're doing extra weekend shifts to save up money for that trip. So you're kind of go. It takes a little while to decompress. But once I decompress...
The hard thing for me is to check out, I will still, even on vacation, I'll wake up every morning and read the news, from beginning to end. I
can't. I have a hard time with that.
Every single day. My wife's like, you know you have a problem, right? And I go, why? She goes, well, it's 5:30 on a Sunday, and you're sitting here reading the news. And I'm like, well, I mean... You have to. I can't let that pass you by. You can't do that.
I still have to be able to talk about it when I get back.
I mean, you talk about a guy who's in. I mean, I don't know how Sean Watson takes vacations. I don't know how he does it.
I don't think he does.
I've never met any one human being more intertwined with his show or business than Sean Watson. When he talks about being the news junkie, that is the most aptly named radio show on the planet. This guy will tweet at all hours of the day. I don't know when he sleeps. I don't, because you'll see a tweet, it's 1:40 in the morning, and then another tweet, it's like 3:40 in the morning. I'm like, man, when are you sleeping? He's how I found out what was going on in Russia right now. All that stuff with that mercenary group turning back on Russia and
Wagner,
going back toward Putin, and then Putin grabbing a plane and hauling ass, and then them negotiating it down. I guess Putin threatened everybody's family, and he called it off and moved to Belarus. It was just bananas.
Now that you say it, there's a coin flip chance that Sean sleeps like a bat.
Yeah. Just
like
sleeps upside down. Yeah. I don't know that he ever goes into his actual house.
Yeah.
I don't know that he goes in there.
That's what junkies do. They stay in garages.
He just stays in his garage the entire time. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us at 77031. Back in 1 sec with more of The Jim Colbert Show.
Your chance to win $1,000 in your hand is minutes away on Real Radio 104.1. Brought to you by Mills Air.
From the Clausman Law Traffic Center, car crash, call Clausman Law. ClausmanLaw.com.
Still looking at slowdowns on I-4 eastbound this afternoon due to a crash blocking the shoulder at Lake Mary Boulevard. Delays also heavy between 536 and 535. Looking at a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane northbound on Florida's Turnpike as you approach I-4. If you happen to see any other traffic problems in the Orlando area this afternoon, just make sure to call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fontainebleau's Summer Paradise Getaway.
Fontainebleau Miami Beach is your summer paradise getaway. Taste incredible food from 8 casual and fine dining restaurants. Unwind and renew at Lapis Spa. Float among 11 pools just steps from the ocean. Or spend an out-of-the-ordinary night at Live Nightclub. Book now at FountainBlue.com.
Pirate Spot Fireworks is your local source for the best specials out there. Florida's largest selection of buy one, get 2 free fireworks anywhere. The experts over there make you a backyard hero, helping you design the perfect show using their touchscreen. That way you can see what the product does before you buy it. Locations in Longwood, 1792 and 434. Up in Eustis off Highway 19. Fireworks, all-time high demand. And like I told you guys last week, if you plan on getting mortar kits, go now and get them. They are going to sell out. But when you go there, ask for the Screamin' Eagle package. That's right, the Jim Colbert Show's Screamin' Eagle package. $199.95 gets you 2 500-gram cakes up to $139.95. Any 3 200-gram cakes up to $39.95. 1 4-pack of assorted large 8-ball Roman candles. And for $100 more, add in that Excalibur Premium Mortar Kit or any 2 500-gram cakes up to $129.95. You can't beat it. Just go to Pirate Spot. Ask them for the Jim Colbert Show Screamin' Eagle Special. It's IWantFireworks.com.
Are you ready to put some cash in your pocket? Because Real Radio is giving you a chance to win $1,000 by putting $1,000 in your hand. You know the deal with our national contest. We'll give you a keyword at the top of every hour from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And all you have to do is enter it on our website at realradio.fm for your chance to win. With 13 chances every weekday, you'll have plenty of opportunities to win $1,000 in your hand. But there is a catch, because there's always a catch. Right. If you get a call, you need to answer your phone. That's right. The key to winning is picking up your phone when we call. So don't send us to voicemail. This contest brought to you locally by Mills Air.
Mills Air in business since 1992. That's over 30 years here in Central Florida. They're not going anywhere. Carrier factory authorized dealer. You can always turn to the experts at Carrier. Equipment change-outs and upgrades right now with up to $1,275 in rebates. Visit millsair.com.
Applebee's daily deals for $9.99 and under. There's a deal every day for everyone. Just $9.99 and under. That's all day, every day. Get into your local Applebee's now. Daily deals are dine-in only in limited locations listed on nrpneighborhood.com. Limited time only while supplies last. Participation varies.
It's summer at Racetrack. Grab 1 slice of pizza and get the second for only $1. Buy one, get one for $1 pizza? Oh yeah. It's a delightful summer. Racetrack. Whatever gets you going. Buy one, get one for $1. See store for details.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
GiveMeTheVin.com now has 40 offices around the U.S. 40.
We did $2 billion in buys last year, $2 billion with a B, because we pay the most, we're easy to deal with, and we take care of you, the customer. That's why we have 4 stars, the highest rankings of any car buyer. GiveMeTheVin.com dominates. Why? Because we take care of our customers. They don't call me America's best car buyer for nothing.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season and available in the produce section right now. Whoa, hey, careful now. There's plenty of juicy watermelon and other tasty Florida-grown produce for everyone. I mean, all you have to do is ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Now well-qualified returning FCA lessees get a low-mileage lease on select 2023 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 models in dealer stock for $409 a month for 39 months with $2,999 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. On tag 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo models invoiced prior to 5/4/23 while dealer stock lasts. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease or Chrysler Capital. Current lease must end by 7/1/24. Extra charge for miles up to 32,500. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/5. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Let's be real, Florida home insurance is an absolute nightmare. And with hurricane season at your doorstep, you need a home insurance company that you can depend on. That's why there's Open House. They're a tech-enabled home insurance provider that uses smart data to keep your premiums low. And you can get an obligation-free quote in seconds and join your neighbors that are saving hundreds of dollars with Open House. You can also get discounts for your smart life choices, like having a gym membership or a dog. So start saving today by going to openhouseinsurance.com. See openhouse.com insurance for details. This advertisement does not constitute a binding offer or guarantee of coverage.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. Yet many times a normal day ends with injuries because that business breached that duty. Slip and falls where cleaning and maintenance were ignored. Falling boxes and items stacked too high. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people.com.
We hear you, Orlando, loud and clear. You are growing, people are thriving, and business is booming. Ocean Bank has been helping businesses grow for over 40 years. And now, we are here to bring you even more possibilities with our new branch right in the heart of the city. The power of Ocean has come to Orlando. Visit us at our new branch in downtown or go online to oceanbank.com to learn more. Ocean Bank, member FDIC.
Order your Hummer EV at orangebuickgmc.com. We are professional grade. Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because you matter. Contact them at whenyouneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Real Radio has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, money. 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 Enter it now on our website, realradio.fm. Good luck.
There's only one place to watch this nonsense. At Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
Four zero 916-1041. Text us 77031. Your 5 o'clock keyword is money, MONEY. Get over to realradio.fm and send that off for your chance to win $1,000. Money is your 5 o'clock keyword. Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
And so is Ross.
Good afternoon.
Jack on vacation will be back with us after the 4th of July break, and we look forward to having him back. All right, so I told you guys about this earlier in the show. What do you think booze bonding is?
Oh man,
What do you think? What do you think booze bonding is, and who does it affect?
Relationships when a man and a woman both find out that they have a drinking problem, so it's far more comfortable to drink.
All right, that's actually not a bad guess. What do you think booze bonding is, Deb, and who does it affect?
I'm going to go with soccer moms being the one that it affects. And booze bonding is the mommy juice that everyone And hey, I've got my mommy juice, you got your mommy juice, and then everyone goes, yeah, and then it kind of normalizes it, makes it okay.
Can I tell you, you are a machine because that is literally dead on. There is another aspect of it that I find very, very interesting. All right, so the new term is booze bonding, right?
Right.
And it's exactly what Deb said. It's these moms, middle-aged women is how they say it. It doesn't really say moms in particular, but they are, a lot of them are moms, and that also comes into play. But it's middle-aged women, 35 to like 50 or so, that get together and have wine. Now, it has increased recently.
Yeah.
It has increased. Now, the whole idea of women getting together to drink wine is not a new thing.
No, I mean, if you watch The Astronaut Wives, I mean, basically, as soon as the men left for work, the women were like, highball?
Yeah, they weren't messing around with wine.
No.
Oh, these women were drinking straight vodka on the rocks.
Right.
Just a touch of lime. Just wave it over there, please.
Just show it the color green.
Right. But the study digs into the downside of booze bonding. These are women that are 60% more likely to engage in excessive drinking than their peers just 25 years ago. In other words, same age, same group and everything. 25 years ago, it was not at 60%. You think about that.
That's, yeah.
6 out of 10 women that are that age fall into the booze bonding kind of thing. In other words, getting together with friends and hammering glasses of wine until you can't see.
Now, does that mean, dad is home, so he's watching the kids?
Well, there's another aspect of it. Let's think of a couple social things that have happened over the last 20 years that we know for a fact, that we've talked about on the show. One of those things is, go ahead.
I would say progressive ideas when it comes to just women in general that would then cause maybe more stress.
You're around it. Can you add on to what he just said? Progressive, the women that are thinking progressive,
maybe
as
like
opposed
in
to
the
20 years ago. They're not having kids.
Oh.
They're not having kids. So what they're finding is that women that have children don't booze bond as much until their kids are gone.
Okay, good. That makes me feel a lot better.
But if you've decided not to have kids, which is a markedly different concept than it was just 25 years ago. The idea of just going, I don't plan on having any kids. I want to live my life and I don't want to have to deal with any kids. That's considerably more accepted now than it was even just a couple decades ago. Well, those women, if you don't have kids and kids aren't stopping you from drinking, guess what you're doing? You're booze bonding like crazy. So that's why they've seen this increase. These women who decide not to have children can now justify doing more of those wine nights out. But there's another aspect of it that's even more, like, not shocking, but more today than that. And Deb, maybe you hit on it a little bit right when we first asked the question.
The mommy juice?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole idea. I think that, when science came out and said, hey, a little bit of wine is good for your heart, I think people went like, what? Did you say that bottle of wine is going to be good for my heart?
No, that's not it.
No.
I'm nothing.
How about this?
Relationships that aren't happy, so they're out bonding with their girlfriends instead of being home miserable?
It says, speaking to drinking habits among women with children, she pointed out to the potential impact of, quote, the emergence of, quote unquote, mom wine culture. Social media, television shows that encourages moms to use alcohol as a way to deal with the stresses of motherhood. Simultaneously, there's been a rapid increase in alcohol products targeting middle-aged women, regardless of parental status, such as seltzers,
right,
pink beverages, and expressions like rosé all day.
Yeah, like it's fun.
Like it's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
Women wear those T-shirts, those bedazzled T-shirts, rosé all day.
Right.
I got wine, I'm fine. All those things. The culture of drinking is being looked at like the culture of beer drinking for men was when the whole Bud Light thing started. Not Bud Light recently, but when Bud
that Bud Light.
Yeah, when Bud Light started doing the funny commercials, what's up and stuff like that, and all the other commercials, Budweiser, that was specifically targeted to a certain drinking demographic.
Right.
Women really haven't been targeted in that manner before. Until right now.
Right.
And they're saying not only is it the alcohol company supporting it, but social media really produces a certain aura around being 35 years old, maybe being a mom, not a mom, who cares anymore, it doesn't matter, and getting together with the girlfriends and just hammering wine. or hammering drinks or seltzers, whatever the case may be. Social media is telling you, hey, it's cool because I got a T-shirt that matches the action.
Well, just throw this hypothetical out, right? I walk into work and I go, man, I drank an entire bottle of wine to the face last night. Your guys' response would be, okay, maybe he's going through something. That's odd. If a woman walked up to me and was like, I had a bottle of wine to the face last night, I'd be like, man, she gets down.
Yeah, she likes to party.
She's fun.
Yeah, you're right.
And she's willing to go there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's get wasted. Like, it's just a different, I don't know, it's a different vibe.
And it says here, this study concluded that the fact that middle-aged women without children are at the highest possible risk for excessive drinking over and above any other group of people right now.
Wow.
How crazy is that? Like you think about that number earlier, 6 out of 10 women, they say it binge drinking. The idea of scientists binge drinking and what we know of binge drinking is way different. 4 glasses of wine to a scientist is considered binge drinking, but I think you and I both know that the binge drinking that we know of may be a little bit more excessive than that.
Well, isn't that what a bottle of wine holds? Is 4 glasses?
Yeah, 4 glasses. Yeah.
I would consider it binge drinking, though, if that's Sunday through Sunday.
Well, absolutely, and that's what they're saying. You know, you're drinking 4 glasses of alcohol more than, maybe twice or 3 times a week. I mean, I would think that you probably had a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have 4 drinks, oh, man. Should I even say this?
See, just now you're going to look at your own search history.
I don't drink that much during the week anymore. But I'm telling you, just even saying out loud that if you drink 4 drinks a day, if you drink 4 drinks in any one day 3 times a week, you are considered a binge drinker.
Is that what that is saying?
Pretty much, that's exactly what it's saying. If you drink more than 4 drinks in a sitting 3 times a week, you are a binge drinker.
I think I'm good. I think I'm right underneath that because I don't drink I don't drink 3 or 4 drinks when I go drinking. More times than not, if I'm not trying to get drunk, it's a 1 drink, 2 drink max.
Yeah.
And then I have to go eat because I'm so scared to drive.
Do you know what makes me drink more than anything? How good the company is. We went out to dinner with a couple friends of ours a couple weeks ago. And next thing you know, I've had 3 glasses of wine and a glass of champagne at dinner.
See, people rock.
Because we're just sitting around talking, shooting
having a good time.
Having a great time. You're just sip, sip, sip. Next one, that's gone. Hey, I need one more of those. Sip, sip, sip. That's gone.
But they're such tiny glasses.
No, these are good pours.
Well, like tiny glasses because they're liquor.
But
they're rocks glasses.
I found that fascinating. I mean, other than the obvious stupid stuff on social media, like the challenges that people have gotten themselves in trouble with, but I've not heard social media be a direct contributor just by, hey, I got all the wine, it's fine, or, rosé all day, that those little sayings could set into a culture of people and make them kind of feel like, well, if I'm not drinking wine with my girls, what am I doing wrong? Because everybody does it on social. Everybody's saying it's great.
Well, I think it creates that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out on something. If the, women that you're Facebook friends with, and it's one profile picture after another of these women doing it. It's like, hey, what am I missing out on?
Right.
When in reality, nothing.
And another thing too is the women that have children. When they go out, part of the study said when those women go out, who have kids and they are going to quote let loose for a night, that they do not blink around. They are out there to set a new standard for themselves because they've been dealing with 2 5-year-old brats for the last 5 years. They are looking to get loose, but that mentality sits in, they're saying. It's like it's sitting in now.
Yeah.
The idea of like letting loose and using a few drinks to lessen the stress of parenthood has become maybe more of a habit than anything.
But, let's not just bring this up without any solutions. Anybody have a solution? I do. Check this out.
I'm listening.
It's the wine glass's fault. Wine glass is sexy. It's curvature. It's classy.
It's built to look good in your hand.
Yeah, you go, wow, I am a better person with this wine glass.
Yeah.
Look at me. I look like the Monopoly man, vibe. How about you put really good wine and Capri Sun pouches?
Oh.
That takes the elegance out of it. It's no longer mom juice. Now it's all of a sudden wine becomes like PBR for us dudes.
Oh, no. I think these chicks are drinking Franzi out of a box. Trust me. It's set up there like a construction worker's igloo cooler. They're hitting that little spout at the bottom. I don't think they're worried about looking fancy. I think they're worried about the effects.
I think if wine did not look as nice, I don't know how many. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful liquid.
Oh, the color is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I drink all my drinks in, I won't drink like a beer out of a bottle. I like the way it looks in the glass. I'm kind of with you on that.
I think it changes.
Yeah.
If you broke every wine glass just like a small chip, I don't know if people would go about it the same way.
You drink every day?
I don't drink every day, and I have. Like one drink at the end of the night, and then I quickly realized that I started really leaning on that one drink.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got fearful of that one drink becoming 2 drinks and 2 to 3 and doing all that. So now I'm trying to go 3 days a week, 4 days a week. It's embarrassing, but it's a true fact. I stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it's tough. That's
99% of the times I've done stand-up comedy, I've had one beer in it.
That environment is tough. I will tell you, about 3 weeks ago, I went for about an 8-day period without having a drink, and I felt amazing. So I had a drink to celebrate. And,
I love that.
And then it felt immediately like ass again. If you do any studies on alcohol, it's like genuinely one of the worst things you can put in your body. It's a toxin to every organ in your body. Oh, but God.
Yeah, it just sounded like the person who made the study of a glass of wine is really good for your heart is like someone who's just going through a divorce and trying to defend their position.
All right, 407-916-1041. Back in a sec with more of the Jim Colbert Show.
About a third of U.S. adults say they regularly get their news from Facebook. Might as well get it from us. Real Radio 1041 on Facebook is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
From the Goldsmith Jewelry Shop Traffic Center. Lowest prices on the highest quality jewelry. goldsmithjewelry.com.
Still looking at slowdowns on I-4 eastbound this afternoon due to a crash blocking the shoulder at Lake Mary Boulevard. Delays also heavy between 536 and 535. Looking at a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane northbound on Florida's Turnpike as you approach I-4. If you happen to see any other traffic problems in the Orlando area this afternoon, just make sure to call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
I'm back, and look at all the Fresh from Florida produce I brought home.
Fresh from Florida produce is fresh as fresh can get.
It's refreshing to know that locally grown Fresh from Florida produce is available year-round.
Well, that's a breath of fresh air.
Look for Fresh from Florida where you shop.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
Whether you need a new roof, new windows, new gutters, or maybe a new door, Mike the Home Builder is the guy to call, and that's at myhomebuildersnetwork.com. Mike has been on this station for years, and he's a great guy. He did my roof and gutters, and he can do the same for you. Great installation, great service, all at a fair price. Trust someone local, someone we trust here at Real Radio. It's Mike the Home Builder, and you find him at myhomebuildersnetwork.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you great results, that's pound 250 and say great results.
If it's a day that ends in Y, you're probably stuck in Florida traffic. So turn that AC up one more notch, aim the vents toward your face, and think of a better place, like the cool, colorful produce section in your favorite grocery store. Why? Because that's where all the cool, colorful, fresh from Florida produce is. Produce just tastes better when it's grown closer to home. And when you buy fresh from Florida, you're supporting local farmers and jobs in our communities. So after you're done being stopped in traffic, pick up some fresh from Florida on your way home.
Fence Outlet customer Amy said,
"We had a fire on our property and needed to replace our fence quickly. We have grandchildren and pets, and we were concerned for their safety. A friend recommended Fence Outlet. We scheduled a free quote, and they had her privacy and safety restored quickly."
Visit fenceoutlet.com today. License number C10252 and C10803.
Mills Air in business since 1992. That's over 30 years here in Central Florida. They're not going anywhere. Carrier factory authorized dealer. You can always turn to the experts at Carrier. Equipment change-outs and upgrades right now with up to $1,275 in rebates. Visit millsair.com.
O'Reilly.
It may be sunny out now, but severe storm season is just around the corner. Your local O'Reilly Auto Parts has the emergency supplies you may need, including generators, tarps, emergency lighting, and cleanup supplies. Prepare now for severe storms ahead with a visit to the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back. Dave and Herb here, and we're talking fresh.
Fresh from Florida, that is. Dave, tell our listeners about the produce that's in season.
There's tomatoes, broccoli, watermelon, freppers, spinach.
Wait, hold it. You're just putting fra in front of produce.
Yeah, as in fresh from Florida.
Produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. You don't need to make up words.
Really?
Ugh, friends, visit followfreshfromflorida.com to see what's in season.
Don't you mean .from?
Ugh, really?
The clock is ticking on IDC's spectacular free finance offer. You have until this Sunday to get 5 years, zero interest financing. That means that $15,000 designer ring is just $250 a month. Or that $3,000 pair of diamond hoop earrings, just $50 a month. Everybody's loving this. It's the smartest way to buy. But you need to act now. This offer ends Sunday and will not be extended. Hurry in and see just how affordable fine jewelry can be at International Diamond Center.
You put it off all month, but guys, you need to act now. International Diamond Center's amazing free finance offer ends this Sunday. So if it's time to pop the question, celebrate a big anniversary, or upgrade her diamond, now is the best time. You can make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of just 0%, as in 0.0. All designer rings and all certified diamonds are included. So act now. International Diamond Center's rate relief ends Sunday. Get details at shopidc.com.
4 Orlando locations. Unapproved credit.
Injured? Hire the largest injury firm in the world. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Are you offended yet? Obviously, we're only kidding. You're listening to The Jim Colbert Show.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. That's how you call the show. We're easy to text as well. That number is 77031. That means you just send that, whatever you want to say, to that number, and it comes right here to our screen, and we can read it. It's modern technology, Deb.
It is, and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
It doesn't.
Which is your keyword for 5 o'clock. I really want to put the Jim Colbert Show up on that leaderboard there.
RealRadio.fm. Send that away for your chance at $1,000.
Money.
I'm Jim. Deb and Ross are here as well today. Coming up, we'll have Ray Trenley in the 6 o'clock hour and trivia here in just a few minutes. So stay tuned for all of those fun stuffs. Plus Ross Thoughts at the top of the hour.
It's all true.
All true. July 1st is going to be an interesting day here in Florida.
Yeah, all those new laws that take effect.
Yeah, so a number of them are interesting. I just put a Twitter poll up at Jim Colbert Show on Twitter. I would love to see your response. One of the laws that's going into action on July 1st is the you do not need a concealed carry permit to carry a weapon with you now, or a firearm. So you can just carry it on your person as long as no one can see it. It has to be concealed.
Can't go into a courthouse or you know, schools or stuff.
Actually, I have a list of things you cannot be or do if you are planning on doing this. It says the Marion County Sheriff's Department, which I thought apt to explain this to people, considering the year they've had over there in Marion County.
Ooh.
On Thursday, the law does not apply to anyone who doesn't already qualify for a concealed weapons permit. Those include those under the age of 21, unless you're a member of the armed forces.
Oh, so you have to be 21.
Yeah, you have to be 21.
Okay.
The funny thing is when my daughter joined the Air Force, I was like, oh, that's cool, you can carry. She corrected me immediately and said, nope, even in the Air Force, even in the military, under 21, you cannot carry or possess, or I say possess, you cannot carry a firearm. You don't have any more, there's no more legality for you just because you're a member of the armed forces than anyone else. Convicted felons, we know that.
Right.
Those convicted of certain violent crimes, such as misdemeanor crimes of domestic violence, you can't have a gun. People subject to a domestic violence or repeat violence injunction. In other words, if you had the cops called on you for yelling or screaming or possibly even striking your loved one or someone that you consider a loved one, you cannot carry a weapon like that. Those who have been committed by a court for to a mental institution or substance abuse facility. So if you've been in rehab or if you've been Baker acted at any given point, you cannot carry a weapon. Florida residents found guilty of drug crimes or being an illegal drug user, including those who have had a medical marijuana card. So if you own or you are in possession of a medical marijuana card, you cannot carry a firearm even when the law changes July 1st. That still applies, which was one of the original laws when they passed medical marijuana here in the state, that's what you had to give up, your ability to legally carry a weapon concealed without a permit.
And I think that's kind of funny just because there had to have been a situation where weed would have really helped before taking out the gun.
Yeah, no joke. Also, the concealed carry law does not apply to the certain areas, like Deb was saying. Sheriff's offices and police stations, right? Ironically, jails and prisons,
right?
Courthouses, polling places. Of course, that'll be that's good. Meetings of the governing body of a county, school district, or municipality, or special district. In other words, any civic meeting of any sort, you cannot have a weapon in there. Schools, colleges, universities, or their admin buildings. And of course, we know that that's kind of on the dock as well, because now a number of school districts in the area are trying to train teachers to carry or be armed within the classroom.
Yeah. Flagler County just recently voted on that and decided against it. So they're going to readdress the issue next year.
Yeah. You cannot carry one into a bar. And that is a big, big deal because, again, all the laws that we have here in Central Florida with the new redistricting, but it's not even that. It's just the new laws governing going downtown and going into bars. So you can't do that.
Yeah, no.
Passenger terminals of airports or post offices, you cannot carry it in any of those places. So don't get killed in any of those places.
Right. No.
Right.
But
man,
thanks,
buddy. I appreciate it.
And be careful where you flip someone off in traffic now.
Yeah. Ross, so I have to ask you, man. I mean, I don't know that Deb would. I don't know that Deb would carry a firearm, even if she could. Would you? If you had the right training, like would you get
yeah, I mean, because if let's put it this way, I've always said this, I would get a gun at the same time I had to get a restraining order. No, I'm not kidding.
No, I got you 100%. I mean, that's a perfect way to say it.
And someone very, very close to me was in exactly that situation where had to get a weapon, never wanted to get a weapon,
right,
but was put in such a place that the security team said, listen, you have to buy a gun and you have to go get training for it because you have to be prepared. And ever since then, I thought, if I'm ever in that situation, yeah.
All right, 407-916-1041. Would love to hear from you if you plan on July 1st, just all of a sudden starting to carry your piece. I mean, a lot of people will do that already. If they have concealed carry, and I think even some people without a concealed carry more than likely are still carrying their piece. There was somebody in my family, I will not mention who, that carried their gun everywhere and even into my house. And I found that odd. And again, I am a pro Second Amendment guy from jump one. There is no Second Amendment in Jim. I believe in them 1,000%.
But how do you feel about knowing someone walked into your home with one, even if it's a family member?
It was a family member, and they came into my house, and it was for a swimming event, like just to bring the kids over to swim.
Oh, he wanted to start the race,
and he had it in his bathing suit. And I remember asking him, I was like, man, what do you think is going to happen? You think somebody's going to bust through the house here and start taking you out? Like for no reason whatsoever, they're going to come through our front yard, through the back door, through the two gates, and in through the house and the locked doors, out through the sliding glass door, and down to the pool to carry your 40 with you everywhere you go, even in your bathing suit.
Are you happy to see me, or am I about to die?
And I wasn't upset, really. I wasn't, because I kind of get it. And he's a responsible firearm owner. He's really knowledgeable at what he's doing. Had all the safety measures taken care of. I was just taken aback. Like, so it goes everywhere. There is no place even that you feel safe. Like, I would not want a life like that. Like, I agree with this, and more than likely I will carry as well. But there are certain places I will not bring that because, for one thing, I think it's a little disrespectful. If you come in my house, it's just me. It's just us.
Plus, there are kids around.
There's nobody else is coming on property. No one's going to have nothing. We lived at the end of a cul-de-sac. You didn't come down that road unless you lived there. And I remember asking him, kind of jokingly, what do you think is going to happen here where you need a 40 caliber gun in your bathing suit?
How did they respond?
He just kind of laughed and he said, hey, you never know. And I guess that's the perfect answer for something like that. Hey, you never know.
It's the argument that you can't defeat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yep, you're right.
And the problem is there's a ton of evidence to support it. But I found it odd. Like, I would not do that. If I got invited to a friend's house to go swimming, or just for a party or whatever, I would more than likely, and I knew it was going to be like a kid thing, I would probably not bring my gun with me.
Yeah, no.
I would probably just not bring my gun into somebody's house. I think that's a little weird, bringing a gun into someone's house, but again,
it's presumptive, I think.
I don't know.
I don't think it's just a little weird. If you were to come over to my house, like, yo, I'm coming over, and the first thing you did was put a gun on a dining room table, I'd be like, you're gonna leave that in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want that in my house because I don't want that variable even.
Yep.
Any bit of the next situation of the hour of my life.
407-916-1041. We have some lines open if you guys want to comment on this. But I would find it like if I had that, and let's say I was going to your Christmas party, Ross. Right? Yeah. I've gone to it, 3 times now? 2 or 3 times? Yeah. Your Christmas party. Great party.
We try.
A lot of people there I do not know.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, most of the people there have been friends of yours for years. Would it be proper for me to go, hey, man, I carry my piece. Are you okay with me bringing my gun inside? Is it okay for me to ask and for you to go, man, I would rather you not do that? And I would be cool. I understand.
Yeah. I mean,
but is it proper to ask, or does that defeat the whole purpose of carrying a firearm with you?
I think it's proper to ask, and it's also proper for the homeowner to give a yes or a no.
Yeah. I mean, and I wouldn't be upset, but I would feel like even if I was just, let's say that Tori and I were going over to Deb's to have dinner with she and Chris. And it's a habit, no differently than putting on my watch or putting my money clip in, that in the small of my back, I just put my gun back there and I pull my shirt over it, and that's where I go. That I would call, and if I'd say, hey, if it was just us, I probably wouldn't even bother.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to ask would be the respectful thing to do, right?
Yeah, because I'd say, if you don't mind, I'd prefer you just left it in the car.
Yeah, just leave it in the car.
But then someone texted at 77031 saying you can't leave it in the car.
Well, that's not true. How do you get it anywhere then?
I don't know. I mean, that you can't leave it there like overnight or...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you don't want to do that anyway. You definitely don't ever want to leave your gun in the car.
No.
I mean, even in a locked box, you do not want to leave your gun in the car. That's where most of them get stolen from, by the way.
Yep.
All right, 407-916-1041. Hey, Roger, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good. How y'all doing?
Good, brother.
Hey, I was kind of happy to hear the thing about carrying in the bars, because I actually I'm not being able to carry in bars because I'm thinking that's one of the worst places. Somebody gets a drink spilled on them, and all of a sudden a hothead pulls out his gun, because before all I'd heard mostly was about government buildings, la-di-da, those kind of things. But then if they are, bars are not allowed to happen, I was wondering, well, I wonder if that means any place that serves alcohol. So now you've got a restaurant like maybe Applebee's that has a bar also.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder if they consider that.
And then you go to concerts where they serve alcohol,
Yeah.
or even sporting events where they serve alcohol. I wonder if, when they say beer, because a lot of these, I've noticed a lot of these new laws that's been made in this state are so vague. Hard to understand.
I would agree with you, buddy. I kind of tell you, thanks, Roger. I appreciate your call. I would have not known that either. All those are valid questions, because I would wonder if it's just anywhere that serves alcohol, because a bar is specifically built for alcohol. But of course, many restaurants, most of them actually, have a bar or at least serve beer and wine. And I agree with Roger 1,000%. That is the worst possible environment to have a firearm is in a bar. No. And it's not because somebody's spilling a drink on you. It's because somebody getting too hammered wanting to settle scores over a pool game with a couple of shots to the chest. That's what you don't want.
I mean, look at the problems that downtown Orlando bars are having because a couple of people decided to settle their beef from the bar with gunshots.
Start spraying the crowd.
And now you've got businesses that can't afford the new requirements.
Exactly.
Would you guys go to a sporting event like anything at Camping World Stadium or Exploria Stadium if they allowed firearms?
Yeah, I probably, and you got to remember, you're not going to get a firearm into the stadiums.
You're not. You're
because
not.
They have metal detectors. They're gonna get that out of there for you.
I'm just essentially kind of grabbing this notion of this law and kind of exaggerating it a little bit.
I would be more hesitant to make that decision if I knew the general public was armed like that.
Okay.
And I got to tell you.
Now take the stadium out of it. The general public is armed like that.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's going to turn up when this law passes.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I got to tell you, I don't know that if you don't carry one now, if you'll carry one when they pass it, just
That's
because
valid.
you can. Because here's the thing, when they legalize marijuana in the state, that doesn't mean that every person who wanted to smoke it just ran out and smoked it. More than likely, the people who are already smoking weed just said, hey, I don't have to go to jail now. I don't get,
I could
just do it. I don't have to worry about going to jail. That is an interesting question, though.
Right? I've never thought about it like that.
I
There is
know.
a 0% chance
That
of
you
me
go?
going to any sporting event if they're like, yeah, weapons, we're allowing them in.
Would you have one? Would you carry?
I wouldn't go to the game.
No, but I mean, like Jimmy
No.
asked me, would you have a weapon on yourself personally?
It might have to get to a point if so many people have firearms, then I think inevitably I would have to buy a firearm.
I'm going to change my name to Earp. I think it's inevitable.
No, don't do that, please. We're already trying not to make comparisons to the Wild Wild West.
And by the way, I think I even asked Ray Trinley about this last week. I don't believe that the law still overpowers what businesses want to do. In other words, you can't walk into the Exploria with your 45 in your pocket and go, hey man, DeSantis said I could bring her on right on in, because they have their own rules. Like this building, you cannot have a gun you can't carry a gun with you in this building. With this company, you can't do that.
Exploria Stadium doesn't even allow like moderately sized bags. They're props to Exploria. Their security has been spot on ever since I've been attending matches.
Hey Nick, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, just real quick, I'd just like to point out, because it seems like a lot of people have the wrong idea here, like Roger. The law, like you said, just extends the existing carry laws. It's always been illegal to carry a gun in a bar. You've never, even if you had a concealed carry, you could not take it in a bar or any of those other places. People have this idea that it's like, oh well, it's just now it's everywhere. It's not. It's always been controlled. If a restaurant serves alcohol, it's just like for kids. If all they're serving is alcohol, then it's a bar. If they're serving mixed, then they would be able to. But again, they can say, hey, we don't want guns in here.
Right.
So if they see it, they can ask you to leave. It's not illegal, but they can ask you to leave if you don't think it's trespassing.
Yeah, I want to ask the guy who's been there for 2-for-1 Chili's to leave, because we got, hey man, we're gonna have to get you out of here with that 2-for-1. Oh, God, here it comes. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it very much. 407-916-1041. Trying to fire through a couple of these calls. 50-50, Sean, what's going on? Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Jim?
What's up, brother?
Hey, I was just at a birthday party, and my neighbor, it was at his house, and he knows that I always have my concealed weapons permit, and I always carry my weapon. And I went over there, and I had my weapon with me, but when I carry my weapon, I always have it chambered. Now, if I go into a social setting like that, I will unchamber the round, and so there's going to have to be a process.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a little bit more safer.
Yeah, I got you there, buddy. Thanks, I appreciate that. The guy brought up a really good, Nick brought up a good a question. So now will facilities, because with this law change, do you think you're going to see signs on the doors of places like Chili's or let's say Wing House or Twin Peaks where they're like, hey, man, you can't bring your weapon in here? They're going to have to do that now, right?
I'm imagining so.
Because,
because they're not in a courthouse or a police station.
And it's not just a bar. They serve food.
Yeah,
so it's considered a restaurant with a bar.
And I will have the Southwestern Chipotle salad. Is that a gun?
Jay, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jim. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of mention, I have a CCW, and I carry my firearm everywhere that it's legal. Right, even if the store or business has a sign that says guns are permitted or not. Right now, here's the big key that I think a lot of people need to understand: is that a concealed carry weapon is supposed to be concealed. Right, so I go into people's houses with it everywhere I go, but not one person knows that I have it because I'm not talking about it, I'm not flaunting it, I'm not using it. The whole purpose of it, right, is that if something were to happen, well, now you have it at your disposal in case you need it. But of course, if it's illegal, then, you're not supposed to break the law. But I think that's the point, right? It's concealed. You wouldn't even know if I walk into your house with a gun because you can't see it.
Right.
Patting me down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A question for you, Jay. I'm curious, what would happen if you found out that there was somebody in the room along with you who felt the same exact way?
We probably have a great conversation. Oh, man, cool. And next thing you know, we're talking about guns, right? But for the most part, right, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions, there's crazies and everything, but for the most part, people that carry their firearms that are responsible gun owners, know how to have a gun responsibly, right? So even if the conversation does come up,
right,
even if something was to go crazy, it's not like we're going to pull out a weapon and start firing off rounds in every random direction. Like, I've been through multiple training classes. I bet you I can shoot firearms, not trying to sound conceited, right? But I bet I can shoot firearms better than the average individual. So if someone were to break in, you know, a well-timed shot can end the problem. It's, you know, the people that are kind of just think a gun makes them invincible now, next thing you know, we have some issues.
And obviously we have those personalities out there. Yeah, Russ, one more question?
Yeah, it's just it's so odd. It's fine. We're up against the clock.
All right, 407-916-1041. Thanks, Shay. I appreciate your comments. We could have taken a lot of calls on that, and maybe we'll revisit that again when we have more time to take more calls, because I find it fascinating. And I agree with a lot of the people who have called today. You know, just because you have the ability to do it now, you should probably still acclimate yourself to what you're doing, and hopefully take some classes and understand what's going on. And you know, that way you kind of don't get yourself in a situation where you can't get out.
I agree with that last caller. Everyone's for responsible gun ownership, and that's why permits are a thing. I just don't understand why we're taking the permit away, because that kind of, to me, it muddies the. Now there really isn't a differential, like a big difference between the responsible gun owner who put in the due diligence, who went out and got the permit, versus the person who goes, yo, guns are cool.
And this is passed on a basically the Second Amendment. The whole idea is I think DeSantis said that the permit was unconstitutional because you shouldn't have to have a permit to carry a weapon, because it's guaranteed by the Constitution and the Second Amendment that you could carry one regardless.
But here's where Ross's point about, like, the majority of people everyone that's called has been responsible. But then you worry about this guy. Someone texted at 77031. This guy brought a gun to my brother's engagement party. The party was at my dad's house. This fool made it a point to let everyone know he had his gun on him. He was wasted, and I heard him talking S about my dad. He didn't even realize that's whose house he was at. Total stranger bringing a gun into your house is BS, if you ask me.
That is not good.
That's not cool.
If you plan on doing this July 1st and carrying, and you go to people's houses out of respect, you should probably let those people know, or call and ask them, hey, look, or whatever. I mean, you should not be doing that. You go into somebody else's house, that's a different machine altogether. You can walk around the front yard, do whatever you want. When you enter my doorways, I need to know. I need to know. I don't want you to have heroin in my house. Right. I don't want you to have fentanyl in my house. I don't want you to have a bunch of stuff in my house, gun being one of those, if I don't know who you are. You know, it's just that simple. All right, 407-916-1041. Load them up. We'll do trivia next.
Real Radio is the news junkie.
Did you know in certain countries, for one in the Netherlands, if you are disabled, they give you a budget to hire prostitutes to have sex with you if you're a disabled person.
You have to be a citizen.
You're asking for a friend?
The News Junkie. Weekdays at 11 on Real Radio 104.1.
This is Jared Carabas. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
It's NBA free agency week, and the big question, the future of Damian Lillard in Portland. He's at a career crossroads. Does he want a ring, or is he content staying in the Pacific Northwest? He's an old 32 and becoming injury prone. For Dame, it seems like a pretty easy decision. And for the Blazers front office, it's go time. I'm Colin Cowherd.
Baseball is back with me, Jared Carabas, breaking down the sport of baseball and discussing my picks all season long. Download and listen to the newest episode from my show, Baseball is Dead with DraftKings, releasing in season every Monday and Thursday, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, everybody. Jim Colbert here with my friends over at the Filatowski Eye Institute. Everybody knows your eyes are the window into your world. That's why I would never in a million years consider a discount surgical center for LASIK vision correction. When my son and my father-in-law came to me and they said, Dad, look, we have issues, can't see, fuzzy vision. Can you help? Of course, I turned them over to the team over at the Filatowski Eye Institute. Recognized leaders, by the way, in vision correction surgery. I trusted them implicitly, and the reason why? They've done a whole bunch of these, 65,000 of these surgeries, and they get great results every single time, and that's exactly what they did for both my son and my father-in-law. Turn their lives around. Completely different existence after the case. Another reason, they use the latest state-of-the-art LASIK technology, fast recovery times, most people back to work the very next day. Start seeing the way you were meant to with crystal clear vision, courtesy of the Filatowski Eye Institute. And guys, it could not be easier. Simply text 1041 to the number 868686. Schedule your consultation today. Just find out what they can do for you. And they even offer 24-month interest-free financing to qualified patients. Again, it's easy. Schedule that consultation today. Text 1041 to the number 868686. It's the Filatowski Eye Institute. They're the smart choice and really the only choice for LASIK vision correction.
Unexpected expenses don't exactly come with an installment plan.
What if they could? An AmScott installment cash advance from $100 to $1,000 could mean more money and more time to pay it back. AmScott, some restrictions apply, subject to approval.
Here's a top move for hiring a divorce attorney. See how they look and handle themselves on video or audio. Chances are that's them at their best, with editing, setup, and multiple takes. The courtroom is live. Mediation is live. Make sure your divorce lawyer is going to make you look good. At Trenley Kramer Law, we handle family law and divorce. TK Law, one firm for life.com.
Cento Family Moving and Storage is Central Florida's trusted source for local and long-distance moving. From packing to delivery, Cento Moving is fully licensed and insured to provide you a seamless moving experience so you can enjoy your new home in no time. Get a quote today at CentoMoving.com. Forget the stress, move with the best.
The money's good and the bids are high. Speedy, fast, the check is on Bank of America, and it's real. Give me the VIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. Give me the VIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Pyrospot Fireworks is your local source for the best specials with Florida's largest selection of buy one, get two free fireworks. With convenient locations in Longwood and Eustis, better fireworks, better prices, and a no-dud guarantee. Visit Pyrospot online for more information at iwantfireworks.com.
Look, some choices in life are complicated. Others, thankfully, are much simpler. Like choosing True as One checking. There are no overdraft fees, lots of practical perks, and when your life evolves and account balances grow, we'll upgrade your perks automatically. Truest One checking. One simple choice. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
Hard Rock Live presents Classic Albums Live. The Who, Who's Next, Saturday, July 1st. Classically trained musicians performing the iconic album and The Who's greatest hits, note for note, cut for cut. Get tickets and info at hardrockliveorlando.com or call 407-351-LIVE.
People are winning every single day. Regular people are winning every day. Whether it's $500 or $50,000, anybody can win. Because when they win, I feel like I'm winning.
It's just a fun atmosphere. The pool, the spa, the gaming, the food, the shopping. I came one night, hit the double downs, had a couple of good runs, and won about $300,000.
Anybody could win at Seminole Hard Rock Tampa.
Must be 21 to play slots or table games. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Get ready to save with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering fast and reliable speeds for $49.99 a month. Free advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security. And a free Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Go to spectrum.com/save more and use the Spectrum One savings calculator to see how much you can save today.
Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Your doorbell camera is just that, a camera, not a security system. Get SafeTouch Security during their buy one, get one free sale. No one beats their technology or price. See for yourself. Visit safetouch.com. Remember, crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. State license EF233.
Hear the latest news from the headlines on your phone. Download the free iHeartRadio app for exclusive live coverage of breaking news. From what's happening where you live to what's happening across the country. Live from the center of the story. Listen for free anywhere, anytime. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep. And a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements. Learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better. Night after night. Sleep next level. Only from Sleep Number.
The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 Smart Bed is now only $899, plus special financing. Ends Monday. See store for details.
You're listening to The Jim Colbert Show on Real Radio 104.
All right, welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1. Your 5 o'clock keyword is money, M-O-N-E-Y. Get over to realradio.fm and send that off for your chance to win $1,000. We will have another keyword for you at the top of the hour.
A freshie.
That's right. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
And so is Ross, and he has the sauce jar.
All aboard!
Chugga chugga.
Choo choo.
Clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
I have a pair of reserved seating
Whoa,
tickets.
I like this already. Who?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny advanced screening this
Nice.
Wednesday night at the AMC Disney Springs 24 at 7 p.m. That also comes with a $25 Disney gift card.
Damn!
Jim, have you seen a movie before you were supposed to see it?
I've won in my entire life.
How dope is it?
It's the dopest.
It's the best way.
It was a superhero movie, too. I can't remember which one it is. I think it was one of the Batmans.
Like, you know how everybody goes to movies on Fridays and Saturdays because that's where all the big fans are that can't wait an extra day to see the Harry Potter film? The electricity in that room to see Indiana Jones
will be fun.
Oh, my God.
No empty seats.
I also have a pair of tickets to see the Orlando Pride versus the New York Gotham 6/28. That's June 28th this month. Let's ride. That is your sauce jar, which is always brought to you by
Cento Family Moving and Storage. If you've got a move coming up, give them a call. They can handle it local, long distance, residential, or commercial. Does not matter, but it does matter if you mention the Jim Colbert Show, because that will get you a discount. Book them today at centomoving.com. That's C-E-N-T-O moving.com. Monday, clickety-clack, back to you.
Thanks so much, Deborah. I appreciate that. Ross, who goes first today, friend?
Let's welcome Scott.
Scott right there on line 3. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good. Want to play a little game with us?
I sure do.
Let's do it, buddy.
Game show.
All right, Scott, this is a very easy game. Got a question here for you. 4 answers. One of them is untrue. If you can pick out that false one, that lie, I will send you to the sauce jar. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. It's National Coconut Day.
Yum.
That's right. Here are 3 fun facts about coconuts and a lie and 1 Gilligan's Island phone of a lie. Number 1. In many parts of the world, coconut husks are burnt to act as mosquito repellents. Number 2, archaeologists have evidence that coconuts have been used as canteens for over 1,000 years. Number 3, during the Pacific War of World War II, wounded soldiers were given coconut water as emergency plasma replacement. Or lastly, coconuts are naturally antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, and antiparasitic. Which one of those is untrue?
Let's go with 4.
No, that's absolutely true. Coconuts are naturally antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, and antiparasitic. Who's next?
Let's welcome Jack.
Jack right there up top. How you doing, Jack?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm your fill-in Jack today.
All right, buddy. Very good. We're talking about coconuts. It's National Coconut Day. Which one of these is not true? Number 1, in many parts of the world, coconut husks are burned to act as mosquito repellents. Number 2, archaeologists have evidence that coconuts have been used as canteens for over 1,000 years. Or lastly, during the Pacific War of World War II, wounded soldiers were given coconut water as emergency plasma replacement.
Let's go with number 2.
Number 2 is the answer, buddy. You're a winner.
Yay!
Winner.
All right.
There you go, buddy. Enjoy
Which
the show.
one was number 2?
Number 2 was the archaeologists have evidence that coconuts have been used as canteens for over 1,000 years.
Man, I thought for sure it was the coconut husks being burned as mosquito repellent.
No, yeah, that's an absolute truth.
Wow.
Yeah, they burn those husks and that smoke. It could be just a smoke in general,
Yeah.
but there could be something in that specifically repels them. I'm not saying that coconuts haven't been used as canteens, but animal skins and bladders go back.
Yeah,
to,
that's true.
They go way, way back.
Yeah, because not everybody had access to coconuts.
The crazy one, nobody thought that during World War II, as plasma replacement, coconut water was used because of the level of electric lights and how good that stuff is for you.
Yeah, it's
coconuts, by the way, are blinking rock stars. These things are bananas. Not bananas, they're coconut.
Eat coconut rice, but don't use the stuff from the store. It's a pain in the ass, but you really do have to get a coconut and squeeze the milk from it.
Absolutely. Let's see, a couple other things you may not know about coconuts before we get over to Ross Thoughts. Natives of the Kiribati Islands used woven coconut fibers as war armor. So they would take those fibers and sew them together so thick that they could repel arrows.
Wow.
And blows from sharp instruments would not go through it.
Wow.
Stones, everything.
Another fun fact, it is my favorite Monty Python and the Holy Grail joke. Whenever the horses...
Oh, yeah.
They don't have horses.
They
so
use the coconut.
they just bang the coconuts against each other. Put me in tears.
How many tons of coconuts do you think are produced annually?
3 million.
3 million tons of coconuts. Deborah?
I'm going to go with...
I gotta be light. But we're talking tons.
5 billion.
Yeah. 1 billion tons, that's a little heavy.
Yeah.
I'll shoot that with the answer.
All right.
About 61 million tons of coconuts are produced every single year.
All right.
That's
Not that bad.
The word cocoa, translated, is native from Portuguese to mean monkey face. Because if you look at the three holes on a coconut, they used to make fun of coconuts, and they were calling them ugly women. Because the fur on the coconut, the husk, would have that crazy hair, and it looked like two eyes and a nose, so they called them coconuts, ugly women.
Oh.
That's nice.
Coconut oil has a natural SPF of
15.
Who said 5?
I said 5.
4 is the answer.
Wow.
So if you just rub plain coconut oil on your skin, it is a natural sun. I mean, I say SPF 4 ain't a whole lot.
Right, yeah,
I think you got there for like 5 minutes before you burn to a crisp. And then lastly here, coconut oil can actually be burned in diesel engines.
Whoa.
There you go. Coconuts, bananas. Ross?
that was poetic.
Thoughts?
It was.
Do you guys ever look back at certain like specific massive moments in time about inventions? And then you wonder what that inventor would be like?
No. Well.
More importantly, do you guys ever wonder what the inventors would think of what their inventions are being used now?
That is an interesting concept. Yeah, that's interesting.
I have some examples for you, Jim.
Okay.
I have some examples.
All right, we'll do that next.
We're in it for the likes. Real Radio 1041 on Facebook is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Still seeing some heavy traffic on I-4 this afternoon, east and westbound between 536 and 535, and between Sand Lake and Central Florida Parkway. A crash blocks the shoulder northbound on Florida's Turnpike between State Road 50 and Mineola. Still looking at a disabled vehicle blocking the southbound left lane on 1792 at Pleasant Hill Road. If you see other traffic problems, make sure to call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
If you're suffering and there's a safe, natural, easy-to-use solution to help make you feel better, wouldn't you at least want to try it? That's why millions of people use Navage Nasal Care to help relieve their symptoms of sinus congestion, allergies, snoring, and other nasal-related problems. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Candace, a verified Navage user who writes, "This is the greatest invention ever made. I truly can't believe the difference and the relief it has made in my sinus problems. Thank you." Unquote. Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Just come out, the man when you're in trouble. Car accidents, slips and falls, he's the only one that you should call. Just come out, when you're injured on the go.
Orlando Attorney Mo DeWitt, sung by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Add value and security to your property today by contacting Fence Outlet. Now offering customers 0 down and 0% financing for 12 months on any fence product. Go to fenceoutlet.com today for more details. Terms of financing apply. License number C-10252 and C-10803.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies. Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Office Orlando.
I'm back! And look at all the fresh from Florida produce I brought home. You have heard of Fresh from Florida, right?
Fresh I have.
That's refreshing to hear.
Fresh from Florida produce is fresh as fresh can get.
And if we're going to freshen up daily meals, it's refreshing to know that locally grown Fresh from Florida produce is available year-round.
Well, that's a breath of fresh air. Got anything else?
I'm fresh out.
Look for Fresh from Florida where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Santo Family Moving and Storage is Central Florida's trusted source for local and long-distance moving. From packing to delivery, Santo Moving is fully licensed and insured to provide you a seamless moving experience so you can enjoy your new home in no time. Get a quote today at centomoving.com. Forget the stress, move with the best.
Mills Air in business since 1992. That's over 30 years here in Central Florida. They're not going anywhere. Carrier factory authorized dealer. You can always turn to the experts at Carrier. Preventive maintenance on all brands, and that saves you money and can detect an upcoming breakdown. Visit millsair.com.
Applebee's daily deals for $9.99 and under. There's a deal every day for everyone. Just $9.99 and under. That's all day, every day. Get into your local Applebee's now. Daily deals are dine-in only in limited locations listed on nrpneighborhood.com. Limited time only while supplies last. Participation varies.
Morgan & Morgan. Dial pound 529 on your cell phone. Pound law. That's all.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live from the injury law firm of Kaufman and Lind Studios. Why Kaufman and Lind? Because you deserve better. Contact them at whenyounneedus.com or dial pound 546 on your cell phone. This is WTKS FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Real Radio has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, PAY, P-A-Y, PAY. Enter it now on our website, realradio.fm. Good luck.
You're listening to The Jim Colbert Show, also available to watch. Yeah, we like it when you watch. At The Jim Colbert Show on YouTube.
Oh, it's that early 90s hip-hop, I think. All right, 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
We'll get to Ross in a second because I want to tell you about the keyword. It's PAY, P-A-Y. Go to realradio.fm. Send that away. Maybe you can win $1,000. Had a winner on the Monsters this morning.
Would love to get one for the Jim Colbert Show.
Do not want to let those guys get too far ahead.
No.
They're tenacious. That's what we want to do. Make sure we get ahead of those guys. Stay ahead.
Always.
So get out there and win that money. Pay is your 6 o'clock keyword. Good luck. We would love to see you win. Let's get some Ross thoughts.
It's weird. It's funny.
We'll find out.
Sometimes it's Ross, spelled like sauce. It's Ross Thoughts.
Welcome to Ross Thoughts. Ross Thoughts is always brought to you by Persimmon Hollow Brewing because they make good beer. If this radio segment is half as good as their Blood Orange Wheat,
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to stick around for a decade.
All right, then.
Because, my God, those beers are good. They also have a phenomenal Pilsner. But I digress. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Keep thinking. Inventors. It's insane. I am always perpetually just walking around like, I haven't appreciated that in forever,
Right.
maybe ever in my life. Let me appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking about all these, just these massive inventions, all the way down to the wheel, all the way down to, I think paper was essentially created in Egypt like a bajillion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to walk up to those Egyptians and be like, hey,
I get it. That's the Bengals show.
we're going to smoke out of that. You think it's for writing?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
will be, predominantly. But just know.
Oh, you want to record history? We got a different idea.
Yeah. And I would love to walk up to him and be like, yeah, man, we make paper airplanes out of them, and we just throw it. No reason.
Right.
Sometimes it flies. Sometimes it's cool. It's pretty cool. Keep going, Egyptian.
You're just telling that guy who took a month to make one sheet of paper that we just fold it up and throw it away now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Sometimes we flush
Yeah.
a bunch of what you just made, Egyptian man. It's just so, I would love to be able to walk up to, let's say, the Wright brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Arguably the greatest invention of all time. Literally flight.
Yeah.
Insane. And I think still to this day, like, there's one aspect of flying that we still go like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's one part about the physical act of flying that, you know.
Yeah, getting that big metal tube and all those people and equipment aloft.
Pure magic.
Yeah.
And they must have known at that moment when they the Wright brothers have flight for the first time.
Change
they're
the
like,
world.
Change the world.
Change the world.
People are going to travel like they've never traveled before.
That took crossing the Atlantic from a 2-month trip.
Yeah.
To a 4, 8 hour, 6 hour, whatever it is now. I mean, it is literally changed the world.
Years and years of work for the overnight game changer for humanity.
Yeah.
And that's not an overstatement.
It's not.
And I would love to walk up to him and be like, listen, man, you should know you created something that it's everybody's goal to now have sex in. You didn't plan on that. You didn't expect that everybody wanted to do it in the air, did you, Mr.
That's
Wright?
great. Yeah, that's a different wrinkle altogether.
Also, everybody's just at first, Mr. Wright, it's like we treated it with a lot of respect. And now we really don't.
Right, yeah.
Because now we just show up with PJs and different types of stains.
Yeah, and the first thing we want to do is get shoeless.
Yeah, it's the first thing.
God almighty.
Well, there's no, babies crying in my invention. Oh, Mr. Wright.
That's all there is.
That's all there is, my man.
Why don't you fly from anywhere to Orlando, my friend?
Well, there's only 6 people on the... No, brother.
That's it.
Mr. Wright, I've got news.
We can fly cities.
Unfortunately, you became the bus of the sky.
Yeah.
That invention.
That's true.
It's another great invention. I keep thinking about... You probably don't know who this is, Deb, but it is... no one really does. It's Alan Alcorn.
Alan Alcorn?
Alcorn.
Alcorn.
Alcorn. Alcorn. Alan Alcorn.
I am not familiar with the work of Al Alcorn.
He created Pong.
Oh, did he really?
Oh, yeah, that's why I wouldn't know him.
One of the most influential...
Was the.
Yeah,
that was it. That's where it all started.
That's kind of where it starts.
Then it kinda. That's where it started.
Right.
Pong was the first video game.
I would love to walk up to him and be like, yo, Grand Theft Auto has strippers.
That you can kill with a pressure washer.
You went from Pong to fake digital boobs.
Yeah.
Where I can waste fake digital money.
Yeah.
All in just a couple of decades, Mr. Alcorn. Look what you did.
Right. I can T-bone a cop and get away with it.
All because you decided to have a ball hit another paddle.
You're right. The guy would have no idea what he did to change the world. And that is a game changer. You know, I found out that the video game industry is worth more than the music and film industry combined.
Oh, yeah.
And just a little side note, we'll get back to all these inventors. I beat Zelda Tears of the Kingdom this past weekend.
You did?
I beat the main story. Phenomenal. If you're listening and you're like, I just don't think I'm going to beat it, it's worth it. It was so good. George Carver. believe that's his name, right?
Yeah, George Carver Washington, wasn't
George
it?
Carver Washington.
He's the guy that did a lot of work with peanuts.
He's the peanut butter guy.
Yeah, he's a peanut butter guy.
That's the one thing that all third graders knew.
Right.
I don't know, just George Washington Carver. He made peanut butter.
It was a supplement for people who could not chew food so they could still get protein. I believe that's why that was invented.
Oh, wow.
What do you think he would... What do you think he would say if we walked up to him and was like, yeah, peanut butter. Everybody loves it. A lot of working out people love peanut butter. It's got this really weird dog stigma, though.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
It does. I don't know. I don't know who started it.
Well,
but I just wonder what the inventor would think if he was like, wow, people are still liking my product in the future, and
then you whisper, and he goes, say what?
Okay, wait, what do you mean? What a Papillon? You know, it's like, it's a different thing. The biggest example of what I'm trying to get at, Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah. The telephone.
The telephone.
Yeah, the simple telephone.
That's up there. That's up there with flight. I'm still giving it the flight.
Telephone allowed you not to fly. So you didn't have to fly to do that business deal. You could make that phone call instead, or you could make that instead of making the flight across the country or waiting. You could make that call. So telephone, I think, it's hard to compare those two.
It is really apple,
impossible.
oranges, two different, very different types of inventions.
Yeah.
Alexander Graham Bell, one of the greatest minds we've ever had. And now look at us with phones. We would shoot them into our veins if we could as a society. We grew addicted to our phones, and I would love the opportunity to tell Mr. Bell, like, yeah, you changed everything. It started off with just a little ring-a-ding-ding, hello, and now it's like I can hack into smaller countries
right, exactly,
with the device that's in my pocket.
Yeah.
Not to mention, throwing this out here, he created the device. There's no way he could have expected that the phone that he makes years, hundreds, a long time later, we're all touching ourselves to our phones.
Oh, yeah. No way possible he thought of that.
No way!
Yeah,
he could have thought, there's no way they're going to have their little dirty, stinky time.
Not even a little bit.
To this invention,
No,
right?
no,
There's no chance.
No.
And then he would probably be like, wow, that's insane. So what's porn? And then you describe porn. And then he goes, how does that work? And then you describe streaming. And he's confused because he's thinking about porn and streaming. And you're like, no, not like that. It's the internet. He doesn't know what the internet is.
Right.
And then you finally tell him all the details. And at the very end, he looks at you and goes, well, at least there's not a front-facing camera on the phone staring at you during your dirty time that you just ignorantly trust. Mr. Bell? It turns out that there's a camera staring directly at my face.
Right, yeah.
And there's a camera staring directly at my feet.
Right. I could broadcast this if I like.
I just think about
I could send this out.
Imagine all these inventions and then the inventions that are happening right now, and then you add 50 years. That invention is simply put, can't be the same.
No.
People have changed. Inventions adapt to what's happening in the now.
How they're applied, for sure.
And
greatest invention in your lifetime?
Gotta be internet.
Yeah, internet for me too.
It has
cell
to
phone.
Be.
Yeah, internet was. I think the cell phone that we know of now is apt because of the internet thing.
Smartphone, really.
Smartphone is the answer. The smartphone is the single most impressive thing technologically that I've seen in my lifetime.
Because we used to be content with having the phone hang on the wall. It was just something you used when you needed to make a phone call, and up until then, it wasn't something you thought about.
I've not seen anything change culture the way I've seen smartphones change culture. Nothing. No music, no movie, no film, no person has changed culture like smartphones and the internet.
So, to George Carver, that's part of peanut butter now, unfortunately. It's kind of like a gerbil with Richard Gere. I don't know how it happened, but it's a thing. Wright brothers, you're right. You guys nailed it. And it's also top of the list for everybody to do it in. Graham Bell, didn't expect that we would get disgusting with the phone, but it's true. And Mr. Alan Orkin, Alcorn, you made Pong, and now we're looking at fake video game strippers.
Yeah, very good.
Wonder what the future holds for us now. I wonder what we'll do to our phones in 20 years.
Stop it.
Does that thing have a battery in it?
Holograms, buddy. Holograms. You're going to set it down, it's going to have a hologram.
It's almost too much to think. If you're trying to relax, may I offer you a beer, my good
You may.
sir?
I'll
May
take
I
it.
offer you a Blood Orange Wheat, the greatest summer beer that I have ever had. It is what I had this weekend, and at night I top it off with a Southbound Hiker New England IPA from Persimmon Hollow Brewing. They are right here in Central Florida. If you've had beer, it's great. Have you had local beer? It's even better. Andy and Robbie, the two men behind Persimmon Hollow Beer, that's what they do. This is what they love. And you can taste how much they care about their beers every sip. They have 5 locations all around Central Florida. Go out, visit them. You won't regret it. So, enjoy Persimmon Hollow Beer today. I promise you, you're going to love it. Drink sensibly, but get weird. For more information, visit them at phbeer.com. Those are your Ross thoughts. We ruined Mr. Alexander Graham Bell. I'm out. Peace.
All right, buddy. 407-916-1041. Text us 77031. Ray Trinley up next. We'll continue the series of divorce myths. And these two that we have today are good. Chances are, if you've been through a divorce, you've had to deal with one of these situations. We'll tell you what that is. Plus, Ray has a couple of comments on the gun thing, too, because we were talking about that a little bit. So we'll do that in 1 sec.
Coming up tonight on Real Radio at 7. It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan, brought to you by Gringos Locos and SecuredRoofingAndRestoration.com. At 9 p.m., it's Real Laughs with comedians James, Miguel, Mike, and Ken. And Real Music starts tonight at 10 on Real Radio 104.1.
From the Clausman Law Traffic Center, car crash, call Clausman Law. ClausmanLaw.com.
Still seeing some slow traffic on I-4 this afternoon, east and westbound on the interstate as you travel between Sand Lake and Central Florida Parkway. A crash still blocks the northbound shoulder on the turnpike between State Road 50 and Mineola. Looking at a good ride for those taking the Beach Line and the Greenway this afternoon. No major slowdowns to report on the 408. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season right now. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're going to need a lot more help at checkout.
From the Florida Department of Agriculture.
Get your tickets now
at AXS.com
for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Coming back to Las Vegas.
2 nights.
September 22nd and 23rd.
1 stage.
At T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live. Only on Hulu.
This is the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival now.
Before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
That's AXS.com.
Steve Kramer here with a divorce tip. Inheritance isn't a marital asset unless you handle the money wrong or your divorce wrong. Then you can lose it to your ex. Call Trenley and Kramer, TK Law. We do divorce. OneFirmForLife.com.
I'm good at cutting hair, but I never cut my budget too close.
Amscott's installment cash advance from $100 to $1,000 could mean more money and more time to pay it back. And no credit check. Amscott, some restrictions apply, subject to approval.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
WORK Work News Radio.
Next up, incidents of pressing all the elevator buttons unexpectedly spike on Bring Your Kid to Work Day. But first, the latest on a team lunch that wasn't ordered through EasyCater.
I'm in the break room where lunch that was previously announced on the way has now been downgraded to hopefully soon.
Fingers crossed, Michelle. Fingers crossed.
Newsflash, it's hard when the food is late, but at EasyCater, we make hard easy. With food for work delivered on time and is ordered from over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
In St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra, it might feel like there's not enough time to take everything in. Because once you're done exploring 42 miles of pristine coast, marveling at historical architecture, and enjoying world-class food, it'll be time to check out and head home. But that's okay. You can always stay just one more day. Visit floridashistoriccoast.com to learn more. It's about time.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
GiveMeTheVin.com created the computer site Unseen Bid. All these copycats, they take your information and they sell it to 3, 4, 5, 6 other dealers. We do not do that. When you go to GiveMeTheVin.com, we treat you like a customer, not a number. We pay the most, we pay fast, and we take care of you because you're our customer. And that's why our reviews are awesome. GiveMeTheVin.com is America's best car buyer for a reason.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey shoppers, this is your local farmer letting you know that Florida watermelon is in season and available in the produce section right now. Whoa, hey, careful now. There's plenty of juicy watermelon and other tasty Florida-grown produce for everyone. I mean, all you have to do is ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo while you shop. We're gonna need a lot more help at checkout.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
Rover's Morning Glory.
It's The Woody Show.
It's Elliot in the morning. All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
All of the best free curated playlists. It's everything that rocks. All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome. All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
Welcome to The Good Stuff. I'm Jacob Schick, a third-generation combat Marine.
And I'm his co-host and wife, Ashley Schick. We believe everyone has a story to tell, not only about the peaks, but the valleys they've been through to get them to where they are today. We're joined by some amazing guests who share the lessons they've learned that shaped who they are and what they're doing to pay it forward and give back.
Listen to The Good Stuff on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We now return to the Jim Colbert Show. Already in progress.
Welcome back to the Jim Colbert Show, Real Radio 104.1, 407-916-1041. How do you not like Post Malone?
I know.
We're all jamming out.
My God, I saw this guy the first time. I'm like, I would pull a gun on that dude. And then you hear one interview with him. I'm like, oh, I want to give that guy a hug.
I know. Him and Jelly Roll. I know.
And he's the
Jelly Roll too? Yes.
He's the sweetest guy. Like everybody who encounters Post Malone thinks he's just like the sweetest guy. Anyway, I actually listened to Post on the way home today. All right, 407-916-1041. Your 6 o'clock keyword is money, or excuse me, pay, P-A-Y. Just go to realradio.fm and send that away for your chance at $1,000. Pay is your 6 o'clock keyword. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Hello.
Ross is here.
It's true.
Good round of applause for our good friend TK Law, onefirmforlife.com, Mr. Ray Trindley.
Yay! Woohoo!
You know, I'm so happy to be here, but I'm so sad to see Jim eating some pistachios.
Oh,
Why?
yeah, that's we found that that's a myth.
Oh, is that a myth?
We found out that's a myth.
Oh, I must have missed that. I'm looking out for you, bud.
Look at him caring about you, Jimmy.
He doesn't care.
No, listen, I only know of one way to care about people is to shame them into correcting their behavior. That's what I learned.
I didn't know you and my dad were good friends.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, buddy. How was your good week?
I just slam busy. I was at the office all weekend.
Really?
And today was another crazy hectic day. I'll probably go back to the office tonight and
wow,
a few more hours. So
good slash bad, huh? I guess.
You know, I never complain about it
You
because
shouldn't.
I'm very lucky. I get to do something that I genuinely enjoy doing, and I work with people I genuinely enjoy working with. So it's tough to complain.
That's a great thing about controlling the employment there. I mean, you do get to pick and choose who is with you. And we were just talking earlier about the Magic and their new draft picks and how important it was for those people to really enhance the culture of the basketball team.
110%.
And I can imagine that falls really into your realm.
We need one solid vet. Lead those young men, and
That's right.
they'll be great.
Very good. Well, obviously, you can find him. TK Law is in Altamont Springs. OneFirmForLife.com is the website. And, of course, he handles a number of different legalities, personal injury, traffic stuff, family estate stuff, wills, prenups, all that fun stuff, divorce,
Absolutely.
of course. What is the largest portion of your business?
Family law by far.
Family law, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I like to take credit for things when I can take credit, but I actually have to give this to you. We started this series and segments of myths for divorce and family law, and I had a brilliant consultation and met a great guy, a listener of yours, and he said, you know what? He's like, I didn't really recognize you or your name. He's like, but you guys were talking about this last week. I went back, I listened to the prior shows about the myths and misconceptions. And he's like, and I need to talk to you. And so, I absolutely love doing family law. I get to be creative.
Yeah.
I get to be an advocate and fight for people. And I get to help people who feel like there's nobody who's going to be there to fight for them. And so I love it.
And there are a lot of situations where in a family law scenario where one particular dominant personality can have a little bit of knowledge and just apply that as like an overlord, and having somebody in your pocket that can help you out and weave through that is empowering, actually.
Absolutely. 110%. So much of it's personality dependent.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you want to check out the series, we're going to go through Myth 4 and 5, but we've covered others for the last couple of weeks. JimColbertLive.com. You can actually see it broken out separately and go over these myths. Before we get to that real quick, I want to talk about the gun thing that's coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we are considering is one guy called up and he said, hey, look, we can't take him into bars, but could you take him into a restaurant that had a bar? And that was a very good question, because we were kind of pontificating on how restaurants are going to handle that. Are they going to put like signs out front saying, hey, look, although we understand July 1st, there is, you do not have to have a permit to carry a concealed weapon, but, please do not bring your weapon into my facility. Will they do that? Will they not worry about it? And if a restaurant has a bar, how are they going to handle that?
For one, bar is defined very broadly. And so anytime you're dealing with lawyers, we're talking about like a spectrum of exposure. And so it's like you could be most safe, never go to a restaurant that has a bar, you're always going to be fine. But anytime you go to an establishment that has a bar and a restaurant, you want to be eating at the restaurant part of the bar, because otherwise you could be in violation of the statute, which could potentially get you in trouble. And so I think that with this change in the law in general, so let's take 2 steps back. Prior to July 1st, so today, as it stands, if you want to carry a concealed firearm, you need to take a course, which has a training component as well as a lesson on the law and when to use force and when not to use force. And it requires some basic handgun manipulation skills. That's the way the law stands right now. So there's some very fundamental training that's required as a part of this, and I think it requires a 16-hour course minimum.
It is something of that
something
nature,
like
yeah.
that. And so moving forward to July 1st, that's going to be done away with. So as a constitutional right, you have the right to bear arms, which includes carrying a concealed firearm on your person. And so one of the things I think that everybody needs to be aware of, including the people carrying firearms, but also people that are business invitees, inviting people into their establishments, is the laws of negligence still exist. You still have to be competent with that firearm. And so if you're not sure if the people that are going to be entering your establishment are competent and are going to be using a firearm in a safe manner, it might make sense from a liability standpoint to do exactly what you're suggesting, is say, hey, listen, as a private business, we reserve the right to say we don't want firearms in our establishment, or we don't want firearms in this portion of our establishment. Because again, let's just call it Ray's Fish Shack. Hopefully that's not the name of a real place, but Ray's Barbecue Joint. No, that's definitely. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm making up a place where I own it.
Yep, 4 stars totally exist.
and I invite everybody in, but it's kind of known for being like a rough and tumble restaurant bar type situation. And I know that people are bringing guns. I have an obligation and a duty to everybody that I'm inviting into my business establishment to keep them safe. And so if I know that I have this dangerous environment and then something does happen, so somebody uses a firearm, I could potentially be vicariously liable for that.
That could be a litigious situation.
Absolutely. So I think you're going to see, and I think it's really spot on to say these establishments may need to reconsider their position on what to do and what not to do. I've always looked at firearm ownership as you have to be responsible with it, but you're opening up the possibility of who can carry a firearm.
And you said going into a restaurant, if the restaurant has a bar, most of them do now, and you cannot sit at the bar. You could
Correct.
sit in the restaurant side, but you couldn't go to the bar side and sit at the bar because there are restaurants I know in Orlando. They're very small. They have a bar area and then seats, and literally you could turn around and jump from one to the other. There's no defining separation there. But sitting at the bar means you are at the bar.
You're definitely
even
going to
if
be at
you're
the bar
eating, it does not matter. You have to be cognizant of that. So just to kind of clear a few things up.
And I always suggest to people too, ask to sit as far from the bar as possible. So let's say one wall here on my right and one wall on my left. I want to sit in the far left wall, as far away from the bar establishment as possible.
Got it, yeah.
Don't consume alcohol. You can consume alcohol. I forget what the blood alcohol level is or was, but it's much lower than 0.08. It's like
for having a weapon,
like 0.02 or 0.01. So it's low. So, but I just say don't have it. Why would you
put yourself in a situation like that?
What is 0.02? Is that Listerine?
It's strong chewing gum.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is,
right.
but if you look at the statute, it's in there somewhere.
All right, 407-916-1041 here with Ray Trenley, One Firm for Life. That's TK Law. Offices up in Altamont Springs. Let's get to these myths. Myth number 4. An unmarried father cannot get rights and responsibilities if his name is not on the child's birth certificate. In other words, you have an encounter with a woman, she gets pregnant, you guys try to work it out, doesn't work that way, his name isn't on the birth certificate because they are not married. Does that person have access to that child?
And the answer is yes, they can. Yeah. So first, most hospitals now, they've trained their staff that, especially when somebody's coming in married, to go ahead and do the birth certificate. We do that from the state of Florida Department of Health and Human Statistics as a way to deal with legitimization, right? Who does this child belong to?
Establish paternity.
All right. Well, it doesn't establish paternity.
No.
It's just with the Department of Health and Human Services.
Gotcha.
So that's what your birth certificate is dealing with. So that is a companion to what we do is establishing paternity. And so sometimes we're doing both at the same time. That's why a lot of people think, the birth certificate is an establishment of paternity. It's not. But there is a form that you can do, and this is my tip of the day, is you can do a form with the Florida Department of Health that also serves as an acknowledgement of paternity. And some hospitals will give the mother the option and say, hey, you can fill this form out too. And what that will do is that will establish paternity. It has to be signed, notarized in the presence of 2 witnesses. Or the other option is you as a father can petition the court to force essentially the other side to go through this paternity process. And then what I do, again, another top trick, is I send a request for admissions, and I admit you had sex on around this day,
right.
9 months before the baby was born. I admit that the baby was born, admit that this is the father, et cetera, et cetera. So that way, and I've had courts do this, and they will say to the mother, and they'll say, even though there is not a court order establishing paternity, we haven't had trial yet, understand everything you do from this moment forward. You've admitted that that's the father. I can rely on as evidence of your resistance of allowing the father to have a relationship with that child. And that's one of the big factors is facilitating that relationship between the child and their other parent.
How does that fall in with child support, though? Let's say that you have a one-night stand, right? Someone gets pregnant, but the guy definitely does want to be part of the child's life, but the mom is like, look, I don't even know you. Like, we literally met at a bar, hammered. I don't even know who you are. I don't want you part of my kid's life. And this guy's like, no, that's not how it's going to be. That's my son, my daughter. I'm going to be part of that world. Does the paternity thing also make it a child support scenario? Or is that automatic to begin with?
Yeah, anytime you establish paternity and you've got 2 parents with equal rights or with equal obligations, probably a better way to put it, child support is going to be a conversation. The nice thing about when you file your petition is the child support will potentially be modified back to that day. So let's say one night stand, 9 months later, baby is born, 2 years and 9 months later, so now the child's 2 years old, you file your petition for paternity because you just now discovered that you have a child.
Right.
The court can go back a full 2 years. It's discretionary. So the court may go back a full 2 years and reassess child support. So you didn't see your kid for 2 years.
Wow.
The court can consider that. But the date you file your petition is the new date, and the court can reassess child support from that point forward, which means if you're supposed to be getting time with this child and the mother's denying you, the court can calculate that as a part of the factor. So
Do you see a lot of that? Do you see a lot of situations where there's no marriage, but there is a child involved, and the father is fighting for the right to be part of the kid's life? Does that happen a lot?
a lot.
Really?
It's probably close to 20%, 25% of what we do.
No
Yeah,
joke.
it's huge.
Wow.
Including my godson. My best friend, one night stand. He was a bouncer at a bar, had my godson, and we did everything, made sure it all got set up, and but it happens all the time.
Wow.
And for the fathers out there who think they may have fathered a child, there's what we call a putative father registry. It's PUTATIVE. You can go ahead and register there, and that way, if something like that does happen and you guys didn't exchange, full legal names and phone numbers and email addresses, there's a registry where you can go and be recognized potentially as a father. So
wow,
it's a huge thing. State of Florida fully supports it, and kids need parents.
Well,
So,
they do.
yeah.
They certainly do. Let's move on to myth number 5. By the way, here with Ray Trindley, onefirmforlife.com, TK Law, offices up in Altamont Springs. Myth number 5. Now, this is one that's very, very interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting. And I bet at least half of our audience has probably fallen into this question or column. Children can choose which parent they want to live with.
Oh, don't do that.
But I've seen it in movies.
This is a really, really, really interesting, divisive scenario here because there are a lot of people who fight for this for the sole purpose of saving money.
That's right.
And that becomes a very nefarious scenario, especially when the concerned parent is maybe the one that doesn't have the ability to provide like that. So where do we fall here? Children can choose which parent they want to live with. Is that a myth?
That's 100% a myth.
It is.
And, people say, when do my kids get the right to choose where they get to live? And I say it when they're 18 and they graduated high school.
Okay.
That's it. So here's what the law says, and this is why everybody gets confused. People understand or believe they understand that children have a say in court cases, and that's not true. The court can hear children testimony when they're of sufficient age, maturity, and understanding that they can assist the trier of fact, so the court, in making a decision. So, the analogy that I use is I had a case where my client's child was a victim of domestic violence and between the child and the mother, and we had the child come testify because only the child and the mother were present. The mother was not willing to waive her right to remain silent and not incriminate herself.
Oh, no.
And so the only other witness of the child getting beat up with a baseball bat was the child.
Wow.
And so we filed a motion with the court, and we asked the court to allow the child to testify. The court granted it. They did it what's called in camera, which is the judge is asking the questions, and the lawyers can kind of feed the judge questions if we need to. And it's done kind of in a much more informal scenario.
Less intimidating?
It's a lot less. Like they take off their robe.
Right.
Everybody's sitting at the same eye level, so it's not like on top of the bench. And so that is in the law. On the other side is who gets to decide where the child gets to go. And there is a part of the statute where it says the court can consider the child's preference. Can consider does not mean the child gets to say where they go. The court's obligation is still to the best interest of the child. So we've had a number of cases, and this is why it's a big hot topic issue, is where one parent says, if you go to your dad's house, I'm going to kill myself. Or you go to your mother's house, and we're never going to see you for Christmas ever again.
It doesn't even have to be that severe. How about this? If you go to your dad's house, it just shows you don't love me as much.
Absolutely.
I mean, and can I tell you, that could be as devastating as anything.
And so then the child says, I want to stay with mom, or I want to stay with dad. And so,
until dad calls and says, hey, if you, I'll buy you anything you want.
Absolutely. And so the courts recognize that. And so they give very little credibility to those decisions because they're so easily to be swayed one way or the other. You add in addition to that, the fact that there are significant longitudinal studies that say that children who are in the middle of a divorce or a separation child custody matter, that they have severe adverse reactions as they get to adulthood that make it more difficult for them to adjust and make proper decisions. And so for all of those reasons, the courts are generally going to be disinclined to listen to what kids say about where they go.
Now, I understand that at 3, 4, or 5 years old, when kids really don't kind of understand already a divorce situation is traumatic to begin with. What happens when they get into high school and they're a little more cognizant of the life around them? They're 15, 16 years old. They've lived with one or either of the parents their entire life, and they decide, well, I want to live these last few years with mom or dad, and I want to do that. Is there an option? Can you go back to modify the agreement, or what has to happen then?
You have to go back and modify the agreement. And so sometimes that does happen. And so I've had a client who was like a 5'1" Hispanic lady with like a 6'8" little boy. He wasn't little, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you expect me to do to me? And like put him over my shoulder and carry him to dad's house. And I was like, well, I don't expect you to do that. That's very unreasonable.
Yeah, right.
But that was the position we set forth with the court. And we laid the foundation of everything we've tried to do to rehabilitate dad's relationship with the child. It was not able to be salvaged, and we had a guardian in that case come testify. And I know your wife does guardian work, so we had a guardian who speaks on behalf of the child go to the court and say, these are the interviews I've done. The relationship is severely damaged, and dad makes no effort to repair it. And so the court in that case said, yeah, we're going to modify the time, and we're not going to expect mom to do that, but we still want mom to encourage a relationship between dad and the child.
Right.
And so there was some hoops that the dad had to jump through that, at least the last I heard, and that kid's probably 22 now or 23 now, dad wasn't jumping through those hoops. He just kind of gave up, unfortunately.
We were a little short on time, but I want to make sure we get this in. What if, like, let's go back to this scenario, 14, 15, 16 years old, getting to that driving age, and both parents are in agreement. Yeah, I don't mind. They can come over and stay with you, and then they can visit me. We can kind of flip the switch a little bit. And, is it just a matter of filling out some paperwork and going in front of the judge at that point, as long as if it's if
with an agreement.
Yeah, if with an agreement.
Absolutely. That happens also all the time. And that's what we want to encourage parents to do, is we want you to communicate about what your children's needs are. The big one for high school is my kid plays travel basketball or soccer or baseball, whatever the case may be, and I work 70-hour weeks. My spouse, on the other hand, is good at ferrying them. So let him or her do that responsibility, and I'll limit my time because that's what's best for them. They love this. This is how they're getting their scholarships, whatever. Perfectly okay. We want to make sure that we clean up the paperwork with the court so nobody has a misunderstanding about what the expectations are. But super easy, super quick, and the courts are generally going to be inclined to do that.
Very nice. And again, if you missed any of this, if you're just tuning in, go to JimColbertLive.com. Not only do we have Myth 4 and 5, but also Myth 1, 2, 3 in front of this as well.
I actually took them out of order, so 4 and 5 actually came after like 7 and 9.
Yeah,
so
exactly. There's a whole bunch of them. I think we've done like the fourth week in a row. I think we've done this. And these are extremely informative. Like you said earlier, you already had a client come in using this information to start a conversation about what he should do in his case. That could happen to you as well. If you missed any of these, they're all up at JimColbertLive.com. Just find the TK Law segment there, click on that, and just go and find them. And they're all, very consumable, 15, 20 minutes at the most, and you can learn a lot and maybe cure your situation as well.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you, buddy. All right, 407-916-1041. You sit right there. We'll be back in 1 second with last call, so load them up. 5 lines are open. That's 407-916-1041. Back in a sec.
Make us think or make it funny. Just make it good. Get on board now for last call on the Jim Colbert Show. 407-916-1041.
This weather report is brought to you by Mills Air.
I'm Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner with your Fox 35 Central Florida forecast. The big weather story this week across Central Florida is the building heat. The actual high temperatures will be in the mid and upper 90s, but the feels like heat index may approach 109 degrees, getting toward the dangerous territory by the end of this week. Not much rain in the forecast for relief. Overnight, we'll see a low of 76. Tomorrow, the high 96, 20% chance for rain. For the Fox 35 Storm Team, I'm meteorologist Brooks Garner.
This report is sponsored by Phantom Fireworks.
Just a reminder for this and every 4th of July that the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air are brought to backyards across America by Phantom Fireworks. Visit fireworks.com for specials, coupons, and a location near you.
Man, let me tell you something. Inflation running high. No one knows when it's going to level out. Buy your windows and doors right now at FAS Windows and Doors and lock in your price. My house is full of FAS windows and doors, and so is my last one. Here's why. They get the largest window and door showroom, which means you have tons and tons of choices, and they're all built with impact-resistant glass. That's security, noise reduction, and maximum of efficiency, not to mention a full selection of hurricane windows and doors. Estimates are always free. They always give you tons of options. All the products have a lifetime warranty. You see what's happening here? We're talking quality products, quality installation. They even have a lifetime warranty. And right now, if you act right now, how about rebates of $55 per window and $95 per door? That's no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 months financing for a limited time. And you can find their showroom easily. Fairbanks and I-4, slide in, pick out your windows, have them installed. Your house will feel better. It'll look better. It'll be safer. Your AC will work less, which means it lasts longer, and your house will be so crispy and cool. It's FASWD.com.
If you're suffering and there's a safe, natural, easy-to-use solution to help make you feel better, wouldn't you at least want to try it? That's why millions of people use Navage Nasal Care to help relieve their symptoms of sinus congestion, allergies, snoring, and other nasal-related problems. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Candace, a verified Navage user who writes, "This is the greatest invention ever made. I truly can't believe the difference and the relief it has made in my sinus problems. Thank you." Unquote. Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Eating good is about more than just tasty food. Eating good is about doing good, too. And that's exactly what Fresh from Florida is all about. Supporting local Florida farmers, creating jobs in our communities, and of course, making sure you can enjoy all the fresh flavors Florida has to offer. Because produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. So eat good tonight. Look for the Sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Baby boomers and retirees, protect yourself from the coming tidal wave of higher taxes. This administration's spend and tax schemes, along with their failed economic policies, are only going to add more to the taxes already being taken of your retirement savings. You can gain retirement tax protection from national talk show wealth strategist and best-selling author Chuck Oliver of The Hidden Wealth Solution. Learn how you can get a head start to be retirement tax smart. Imagine learning proven solutions, saving thousands in unnecessary taxes. Visit retirementprotected.com. Retirementprotected.com.
Let's be real, Florida home insurance is an absolute nightmare. And with hurricane season at your doorstep, you need a home insurance company that you can depend on. That's why there's Open House. They're a tech-enabled home insurance provider that uses smart data to keep your premiums low. And you can get an obligation-free quote in seconds and join your neighbors that are saving hundreds of dollars with Open House. You can also get discounts for your smart life choices, like having a gym membership or a dog. So start saving today by going to openhouseinsurance.com. See openhouse.com insurance for details. This advertisement does not constitute a binding offer or guarantee of coverage.
I won over $500,000 playing slots. I do this full time and I would not change it for the world. It's fun and I win. I win a lot.
It happens every day. Regular people are winning every single day. Whether it's $500 or $50,000, anybody can win. Because when they win, I feel like I'm winning.
I came one night, hit the double downs, had a couple of good runs, and won about $300,000.
Anybody could win at Seminole Hard Rock, Tampa.
Must be 21 to play slots or table games. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
These days, there are plenty of things to worry about, but keeping pests out of your home shouldn't be one of them. That's why you need Massey Services. Massey eliminates pests before they get inside. They start by carefully inspecting the inside and outside of your home, and then focus customized treatments on the outside. Best of all, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. That's the Massey difference. Expect more and get it.
Summer at Racetrack. The sun's out and savings are in. We've got the deals to keep you deal-lighted all summer long. Stop in and buy any 20-ounce bottle of soda and sip on another for only $1. But the party doesn't stop there. Snag one slice of pizza and get another for only $1. More soda and more pizza. Saving money never tasted so good. Now that's how you make summer delightful. Racetrack, whatever gets you going. Restrictions apply. Limited time only while supplies last. See store for details.
We now return to the Jim Colbert Show.
61041. Little joke, little callback on the show. Little shot at Trendley. It doesn't matter. We don't care. He's a tough guy. He doesn't care either.
I got thick skin.
All right. He does have thick skin. You're an attorney. You cannot have thin skin as an attorney.
In fact, I just talked to a kid who got into law school. He's like, "Do you have any tips for me?" I'm like, "Grow a thick skin.
Yeah,
because
buddy,
don't take any of it personal."
And that's even from your client. They'll be getting at you.
Absolutely.
All right, 407-916-1041. Again, 3 lines open. Grab one of those for last call. We'll get to those in just 1 second. Also, your 6 o'clock keyword is pay, P-A-Y. Go to realradio.fm and send that off. Maybe you'll have a shot to win that $1,000. We had a winner earlier with the Monsters in the Morning. And I think we have 2 more keywords after this with Tom and Dan. 7, 8, and maybe even 9. I think there's one at 9 as well. So it'll keep going throughout the evening, and those keywords will keep on for a couple weeks, trying to give that money away as much as possible. Welcome back. I am Jim. Deb is here.
Less players at the 7, 8, and 9 o'clock keywords.
That's
Just keep
right.
that in mind.
That's right. Also, Ross is here.
Yeah.
And Ray Trendley, onefirmforlife.com. Offices right there in Altamont Springs. That's TK Law. Handles a number of things. We've talked about divorce now for a few weeks because it's very important. But you do specialize in family law.
Absolutely.
And that's where you really shine. So any situation like that, some great advice can come down the line. And man, it is so absolutely valuable in matters of the heart. That's what I've learned for sure. When your heart is involved, you need outside advice. I can't listen, man. 55, been through a few things. No way possible to explain how vital it is in the matters of a heart to get a professional involved, because it almost always goes the wrong way because you're already tense, you're already defensive, and an attorney can really, oddly enough, settle that down. And I know you don't have attorneys don't have a reputation of doing that, but that's exactly what they do.
If you get a good lawyer, they're going to help you get through the clouds and see the light. That's the key.
It is a night and day scenario. I remember when I went through my divorce, we did not use attorneys, but we did use a mediator, which are basically attorneys, mediators, to come to a conclusion. We had to be in separate rooms. We were not in a good point at that time, but we came to an agreement because our attorney had a calm head. And when one of us would blow up, they'd say, "Hey, look, here's the reality of this scenario." And it really did make a gigantic difference. So again, that's onefirmforlife.com. Ray Trendley, TK Law, offices right there in Altamont Springs. Deb, who do we have to thank today?
We want to thank Brandon Kravitz from our sister station, FM 96.9 The Game. Also want to thank Sam Bowen and Candace Rich for running our YouTube chat. And as always, the friendliest attorney, Ray Trendley of TK Law, onefirmforlife.com.
He's friendly till you cross him up a little bit.
I'm always friendly. I'll just be honest with you that I'm going to attack you from the front.
right in your face.
Absolutely.
Stand up, Ross.
Yes, July 14th and 15th. Not this weekend and not the following weekend. But I'm going to be out in New Smyrna at Madcaps Comedy Club. You can get the tickets off of the link in my bio. New Smyrna.
Absolutely. That's Ross Padgett Comedy on all social media platforms. Ross is spelled like sauce.
It's true.
When are you guys doing another one of those little get-together things you did out in Mount Dora a while back, where you basically sat up and people were able to come in and ask you questions and
the
stuff?
family law clinic.
Yeah, they were talking about doing one in November, I think is when they were talking about doing another one. Maybe it was September.
And
that's one of those burrs.
And this is an organization that you're part of? This is not thrown by your firm, or no?
Yeah, so we partner up with Legal Aid Society, and we throw these events to help out and get outreach and help people get the tools they need to get to the next steps.
Yeah. And look, I will tell you, anytime you can get some free advice, even to point you in the right direction, you should probably take it.
Here's what I say is, 30 minutes of your time could save you $300,000 or more. Yep. it's probably worth it to have a conversation.
And an assload of heartache.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing, it empowers people. A lot of people just simply don't know the answer, and they just start guessing, or they talk to a friend who had an attorney friend once, or they go online, like the WebMD thing, and they try to figure it out. Man, there's so much more nuance to the law than that, and context is so unbelievably valuable in situations like that. Again, that's onefirmforlife.com. Let's get to it here. Hey, Brian, last call. Brian, last call, buddy.
Hey, you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, question for Ray. Hey, I got in trouble back when I was 18 years old, assault and battery.
Okay.
I'm 56 now. How do I get my gun rights back?
So you would probably have to seal or expunge that record, and depending on what kind of adjudication you received, you may not be able to do that. So what you need to do is you need to contact me or another attorney and make sure you get your ducks in a row, because once you start that process, if you do it wrong, you may not be able to restore your rights. So do it right.
All right, 10-4.
You got it, buddy. And listen, expunging is a involved deal, and it's really, really involved.
It's a super background check, basically.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Uncle Tony, last call.
Hey, that concealed hog leg permit, if you know what I'm talking about, cannabis card, am I okay to smoke that on the beach by myself, or I got to be at a private place?
You're going to want to be at a private place.
Yeah,
buddy. You can
for
jump
sure.
in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you mention the word hog leg, it's private. Mike, last call. Take us home.
This is Drop the Mike Buzzer Larson here. Jim, give me a second before I talk with Tranley. You missed Friday's joke. You know what the Sharks said down that were down by the Titanic on last Thursday?
I don't know, buddy, what they say.
They said, "Hey, great, who ordered Five Guys?"
Oh.
Let's go on to Ray. Ray, a gardener friend of mine, suggested putting horse manure on my strawberries. You know how that turned out, Tranley?
How'd that turn out?
I'll never do that again. I'm going back to whipped cream.
All right,
Mike,
you
we
got me,
missed you,
Mike.
buddy.
You
There you
got me,
go.
Mike. All right, very good, buddy. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Tomorrow we'll have What You Do That's New. More calls, texts, more keywords, more chances for you to win $1,000. On behalf of Deb, Jack, and Ross, I am Jim and Ray Trinley. I'm Jim. We follow the News Junkie. They follow the Monsters of the Morning. After us, it's Tom and Dan with the Corporate Time and our friends from Real Laughs. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 for more of the Jim Colbert Show. Until then, have yourself a wonderful Monday evening.
Bye.
I haven't worn underwear since like 85.
A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan is coming up next on Real Radio 104.1.
From the Goldsmith Jewelry Shop Traffic Center. Lowest prices on the highest quality jewelry. GoldsmithJewelry.com.
At Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, our mission is to fight to get you more. Because when you get injured at work or in a car accident, you will need more to move forward. We have more than 800 lawyers and thousands of support staff and more offices nationwide.